podcast. So
You is all good. It's all good. Sorry for the little delay. 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 minutes late, but it's all good.
mm,
We're going to get this thing up and running. Shout out to the people who've already rated the video or the live stream already. Even the one who did the dislike. Shout out to you too.
Nah,
People don't
fuck
realize.
you. Fuck
People don't
you.
realize. People don't realize that that's engagement, so that does help.
mhm.
Nah,
So
fuck
we're
him.
okay with that.
Fuck him slash her and his slash her mother.
Hey, long as it get
Wow.
long as it get
Okay.
more attention, he's good with me because that helps getting attention.
Mm.
All right, let's get this out of the way. First, the frame rate's 170.
As he bots right out the gate.
Yeah, first the frame rate's 170.
The bot edition.
Myself, DJ81, Bill's fourth. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, that's good. This is where we talk about sports and sports gaming. Got a few topics tonight. We're going to talk about NHL. We're going to talk about Madden 21. We're going to talk about Black Ops Cold War because I found that trailer pretty interesting. We'll talk about that as well. And everything in between. You can also find us on Google Play, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Also, if you haven't, check out the Discord because we do have a Discord. You will be vetted once before you get in. Also, this stream is on Twitch. If you're not listening to us on YouTube, or you're listening to us after we've gone live, you decide to go to Twitch, they're over there as well. And my podcast members are also on Twitch. They will plug their channels as well as their intro. And with that being said, I'm gonna let Bills go first. Bills, what has been going on with you?
I've just been figuring out how to fix this damn game that comes out broken every year. But other than that, I've been alright.
Okay, that's cool. And DJ, what's going on with you?
First of all, I'm gonna say I love gaming. There we go.
I love game. I like that.
Wanted to
Where you
throw
get
that out there. Oh no, it's from the people at Rogue Energy.
I like how you did that.
So there we go. So if you're looking for some caffeine boosting your game in there, that's the company. Just go to my Twitter at DJ81 and let's see. That's what I'm at. But yeah, everything's been going great. The last 2 days have been look who's here. Down below in the chat, cute Miss Ladybug is here.
Hey, shout out to cute Miss Ladybug. Long time no see. Good to see you back.
It's about to be crazy up in here. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so last night's stream was a bit crazy. I know I'm probably gonna get roasted in the chat. That's fine. I'm a real gamer, so I'm not gonna shy away from having a bad game. Saw me miss a cut in PGA 2K21, but come back, play better next time. But yeah, let's get into these topics.
All right, well, let's get into it. As far as myself, I've been playing a few games. Same old. Nothing much changed since Tuesday. Pretty much. I didn't do much on Wednesday, but just same old. Just out here, just trying to play these games. One thing about us, like I was saying, prior to the stream. And I think I said at the end of the last episode, this collective group of guys here on the podcast, we're here to show off not only how well we love to play video games, but show you guys how to be better at games. We have a lot of people here that are out here just telling you, hey, this is what the game is, and it is what it is. I'm mad because of this, I'm mad because of that. We're here actually trying to give you solutions to every game that we come across if needed. 9 times out of 10 it'd be Madden. So for the most part, all three of us do try to have a good experience with Madden throughout this year, unlike just being mad and want to bash it the entire time, because we're gamers at the end of the day and we want the game.
Two people.
Right.
This
there you go.
one has decided to opt out.
Well, I mean, you still do the same when it comes to the other games you play, so.
Yeah, because the other games satisfy a niche I'm looking for versus what Madden lied about this year. But anyway, keep going.
Well, I mean, that's another thing, and it's like that's not the only game we talk about. It's plenty of other games that I play as well there's another game that I plan on adding to my streams sometime, probably next week. I'll get into that later, and it's not necessarily sports related, but we'll talk about that then. Like I said, on deck we got NHL 21, Madden 21, Black Ops Cold War. We're going to touch on that at the end. Since NHL is the first and up front, but we're going to switch over and talk about Madden sliders. I haven't touched any of them. I've been having a blast with it on default all pro. I touched on it on Madden a little on all Madden, and I still have a blast with that as well. But I do prefer all pro. It gives to me it feels like it's a balanced attempt of what they're trying to do. I still need a better secondary, but nevertheless, all pro default for me. I have not touched any sliders, but Bills has. He has been touching them. He has actually been doing some rosters as well, so he's going to take the lead on what do you need to know as far as these sliders, what works, what don't work, where it breaks the game, what helps the game. So I'm gonna let Bill start off and we'll go from there.
Yeah, they got some explaining to do. They got an issue from last year before, I want to say like the second or third patch. They had an issue in the game that basically made it so that CPU quarterbacks do not scramble right away and they throw the ball across their body more often than not. And it's an issue for immersion. It's an issue for just stats. It's an issue for a lot of things. They get stuck in this mode where they don't know whether they want to scramble or not. They end up throwing the ball across their body and they're thrown into coverage. A lot of great quarterbacks are throwing stupid picks. I posted a play on Twitter where there was a situation where Joe Burrow was 3 yards away from the first down. He tries to take off and then all of a sudden throws the ball across his body when he could have took off and gotten the 3 yards for a first down. So it's one of those things where it breaks the game. It makes the game not fun to play. I don't know if this is connected to the speed parity. I don't know if this is connected to I'm pretty sure it's connected to the speed parity. I don't know if this is an all Madden or all pro thing. It seems like it happens on both difficulty levels. I haven't tried pro yet, but it's so frustrating. I mean, I've been trying everything. A couple years ago, the awareness was something that you could put down and they wouldn't do it as much. But it's really frustrating to see quarterbacks throwing the ball across their body in nonsensical situations. So I'll try to figure it out, but right now that's honestly making the game pretty unplayable. That's on default roster and my roster, so I really don't know how.
So basically, there's something that you have to work through as far as the sliders mechanics or whatever. Correct?
Yeah, because I mean it's like it happens. Like okay, I know some people are saying they're not getting a pass rush, so they're not going to experience this as much as me. But I feel like on my sliders, I have a pretty realistic time in the pocket. And I'm telling you, like, whenever the computer gets flushed out of the pocket, it's like a coin flip whether they're going to actually scramble like they're supposed to or throw the ball across their body to a receiver in the middle of the field is just so it's just frustrating. I mean, sometimes, and then, excuse me, here's the other thing that gets me. If you change it to scrambling, they'll take off like drop of a hat. But I mean, I don't want Tom Brady just taking off automatically. Like the pocket quarterbacks, the issue is with these traits. Here's another thing that people don't know. So with the pocket quarterbacks, if you have a guy and his quarterback style is pocket quarterback, he's not gonna scramble like ever. He may make one step up in the pocket, one step to the right, one step to the left. He's not going to scramble. He'll see pressure right in his face. He won't scramble. He won't move. Balance, they'll move, but they'll try to throw the ball outside of the pocket sometimes, which also gets unrealistic. And then the scrambling, they'll just take off without trying to throw the ball. So there's no balance. There's no gray area. And it seems like, like I said, I don't know if this is something on my roster. I doubt it, though, because I tried it on default. It wasn't working.
Mommy gonna get it.
I'll figure it out.
I'm pretty sure you will. I mean, you pretty much figured out in most of the games anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, Bills was like the residential scientist when it comes to like these sliders. I know I work with him as far as like with NHL and obviously last year with Madden 20 and obviously with NBA 2K. So I'm like, we're usually heavy into it. I'm like, he goes further than I do because he goes into the roster. So it's just like it's very intricate, the knowledge that he has about this. So I'm
Oh,
like,
and
oh yeah, go ahead.
Real Football Gamer asks, Bill Smitty, are we good? No, we are not. We're not good. And I'm not gonna go into a rant, but we're not good. That's all you need to know. We're not good by a long shot. So that's that.
Shout out to Smitty, man. Whatever. Anyway,
what the fuck was that?
Okay,
Yo.
one thing I will say on that, because I kind of was trying to cut this off before it got to this point. Honestly, I'm just disappointed that this live debate did not occur, because I felt like it was an educational opportunity that was missed in trying to bridge the gap between two differences of opinions. But, people want to do the exact opposite of what we're supposed to do and, talk this out. So,
but that's the thing, is like, I don't want to make this a like you said, a video versus video thing. I invited him over here. He didn't come.
mm-hmm.
I invited him to talk it out. He didn't want to. Instead, he went on his YouTube channel. He devoted time during the stream, literally to just me, and spread misinformation.
So he made a video about you.
He made a video about me.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, it was
a stream, but he devoted a good 10 minutes to me. So, it's just like, there's no point in going back and forth. There's no point in debunking the shit he said, because I've already done that. And whoever can see this from the outside looking in, they can go to my Twitter page. They can see what actually happened. They can see how full of shit a lot of the things he said were. And I'm not going to continue to go back and forth with him, because it's not going to do anything. He's not going to come here and face me. He's not going to give me the address to some raceway for me to fly across the country. Who did that? So, I mean, but no, I mean, in all seriousness, no, we're not good, because I don't like when people lie and spread misinformation. But I mean, it's whatever. I don't really care whether we're good or not. Honestly, it's like irrelevant to me at this point.
Well, sim community, I tried.
I mean, I put it like this, and I don't want to touch on it too much more, because I do want to talk about, like, just more on Madden. The thing about it is, I think what it was, ever since at least Madden 19, we've been trying to get away from, like, fussing back and forth about video games. Outside of the whole situation with soft drink sports, we've pretty much been dodging that type of stuff. And I saw what you and Smitty was going through, and it's kind of unfortunate, because you would think that he, out of all people, he would have been the one to not really come at you like that, because I didn't know he did a stream like that. Because, I mean, I talked to him recently, and I didn't know it was like that. But, I mean, it's real unfortunate. But, Smitty knows where to find us. It's no big deal. I mean, it's just that you would think after all of this time, it wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, but that's my thing. It's like, I just, like, he's one of the people that pull this every now and then, where he'll just, like, grandstand, and then you're like, but bro, I invited you to talk this out and you refuse. So your grandstanding just kind of makes you look way worse. I mean, that's my whole thing. It's like, bro, you just, I don't get it. I mean, mind you, everybody thinks that Bill starts shit. It's always me. That's the perception that I always stay in my bubble. I give my opinion, and people come and start bitching about it. That's really what it comes down to. And, people try to babyface themselves and make themselves out to be the good guy. I mean, but I don't bother anybody. I just stay in my lane. I post my opinion. People
I
come and
don't
they
know. Now,
feel
I'm gonna go to bat for you, but I don't know about you.
what? Who do I bother?
You forgot now.
Who do
You forgot now. You
bother?
forgot who you talking to now. Cause
Who do I bother?
we both from the cut from the same cloth. We know we be getting
But-
that shit. We
And,
talk
and,
about
and, and before you jump in, Bills, and the reason why I tried to set up the live debate because I knew it was going to wind up like this unchecked, and unfortunately, it still went the way it went.
I know you have your moments, Bills. I'm just
But
put it like that.
VF, here's my thing though.
Just like I have mine. So,
But here's the thing, VF. You and me are the same way though.
OG,
It's like it's like
started, you shredded.
but OG has a point because if somebody comes to VF, he's gonna go at them just 10 times harder, right? And it's the same with me. But I don't go at people first. I don't come at them and you know. If your opinion's something crazy and it's on Twitter, I don't usually tweet you. I don't really care. But if I say something and then you come at me with your dumb opinion, then that's when I come at you because you're coming into my mentions and you're basically trying to enforce your opinion, especially when you're not educated on my opinion. That's when I take offense to it. If DJ comes and disagrees with something, it's something that we've either not talked about before and he wants more insight on why I feel that way. But he's not going to come and just say, oh, well, I think you feel this way because of this. And as a result, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. And here's why. That's the issue.
I would like to bring something up. And unfortunately, Smitty, you said this before when people came to your mentions way back, maybe a couple years ago. People just come in and assume stuff. They don't ask questions. This is something that you've said in the past. And I'm like, look, me and you are still good, but you gotta have that same energy.
I mean, the thing is, I think with all of us at the end of the day, I think we're always gonna be good with whoever we come across. I mean, outside of that one situation, I'm not gonna name. I mean, even when it comes, to Ryan Moody, I'm still cool with him. We just don't talk. We just have a difference of opinion when it comes to things. And I think at the end of the day, I think that's where it should stay because what he does and what we do. It's kind of what we do is the evolution of what he used to do. And I think that's somewhere it get lost in translation, but it's fine. We kind of know we just don't go no further from there.
But see, the thing is,
I think that's where it should be with everybody now because it's not the same how it was back in 2013.
But 2013, people were just like slitting each other's throats.
But see, and here's the thing. Here's what makes it even more egregious is when you say I was getting personal, and then you remember how shit used to be, and you remember how I used to be. The shit I said was beyond tame. I could have gotten personal. I didn't because it wasn't needed. Because he didn't come at me. So that's what I'm saying is like when you spread these false pretenses, like, well, Bill's got personal, and he called me dumb, and he called me stupid. Y'all can go look at the tweets. I never called him dumb. I never called him stupid. I didn't really ever even allude to that. So that's just him trying to make himself out to be the good guy. And that's what annoys me about it. Because it's like, bro, if you really had an issue with how I was addressing you, you would have said it that day. You wouldn't have waited till the next day and all of a sudden I was attacking you. You didn't say that the day before. So that's my thing. It's like you talk about keep that same energy, but you didn't keep that same energy. And then and then the last thing I said I wasn't gonna touch on this, but now it's kind of annoying me. The last thing I'll say is when he says keep that same energy about 2K, he didn't even show the tweet when I basically said like 30 minutes later after I said, 2K feels the same as 2K20. I said I'm gonna re-download it. I'm gonna re-download it. I'm gonna play it. And then all of a sudden he goes into his video and he's like, oh well, I thought you said the game was trash, and all of a sudden you have all these thoughts about it, even though you deleted it. I'm like, well, you didn't show the tweet where I said I re-downloaded it. That's the shit that gets me.
And I'm gonna go back to like what I said when I talk about the base of the game. I think we're at a point where it shouldn't be that way. It's like, look, we're playing these games. We're trying to, have fun with these games at the end of the day. And the thing that what happened with that when he came back at you with that's the things that we used to do. And to be honest with you, that's what the naysayers used to say about Madden. Like if they found out you or I are playing Madden or whatever, and we put the game down and come back, once we come back, what do you hear? the same naysayers. Oh, I thought you didn't like Madden. You know, he's doing the same thing, and it's like that's the stuff we're trying to get away from.
And I said last week on the podcast, I said, look, y'all gonna have to, in a way, take some of the shit I say about 2K21 with a grain of salt, only because I've played so much of NBA 2K20. If it feels a lot like NBA 2K20, I'm gonna tell you it feels a lot like NBA 2K20, and I don't like it because I've played 30 days of NBA 2K20 in total time. But I also, and I can show you the DMs. I've spoken to DJ. I'm not gonna actually show you. I'm saying they're out there. I told him, I said, look, I went and re-downloaded it. He asked me what I saw in the demo. I told him what I saw in the demo. And then I also told him, like, but NBA 2K20, I played it so much. I didn't really see these things initially because it just felt the same. And I had to play a little bit more in order to see the improvements. So if that's backtracking, then I mean, we also got to look at the fact that he's backtracked from his not criticizing Madden over the past 5 years.
I mean, you got to understand the state of these games. We've all backtracked at one point because of the fact that we love these games. Let's not get it twisted. We all love these games.
I also think wait, hold on, Bill.
Yeah, go.
But here's the thing. I also think it's human nature to give something a second thought. It's just like what happened with the NBA. Like LeBron and the Lakers and the Clippers it seemed like they were dead set on not playing any more games and just shutting down the season. They slept on it and they needed a little convincing. They've actually gone back and they're going to restart the playoffs. I think the games are going to be on Saturday. But the thing is, sometimes you have to, like, there's an instant reaction, initial reaction, and with the way society works, you have this initial reaction, and people just stick with that initial reaction instead of just thinking about it later. And like, you know what? Maybe I was a little extreme in this. Maybe I need to look at this again and see if there's something else pops up.
Here's the thing. Let's hurry and get past this because
I got one more thing.
It's getting round robin.
So this is the last thing I'll say. Backtracking, we all know what backtracking is compared to saying that you were wrong about something. Backtracking is, I said something, I'm getting heat for it. Now I'm going to go back and say, oh, that's not what I really meant and try to rephrase my words. Saying you were wrong about something is admitting you were wrong about something. I said it felt a lot like 2K20 and it basically was minimal improvements. I went back and played it. I admitted I was wrong. Now, Smitty doesn't like being wrong. Nobody really likes being wrong, but, if there's a hill to die on, trust me, you'll see Smitty there stabbing himself in the heart.
But
that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, there's come a time where we need to learn how to be wrong and accept it and learn from it, and that's one thing that this community has not done a good job of.
I tell you what, if you guys watched that stream last night of me suffering through PGA 2K21 because of my own deficiencies, then
that's the thing, DJ. You forgot to plug your Twitch channel so people can go back to see it.
That's after when we're about to close out. We
do it before and after, so people don't know the first time and won't forget when we leave.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, like I said, I've been playing Madden on default, and I'm not saying it's the way to go. Everybody gonna have their preference the way they play the game. Houston, Texas 224. He's in the chat. He swears by playing with sliders, so he's always asking me, "Hey, what sliders you got for NCAA basketball 10? What sliders you use for Live 15, which don't have sliders?" He's always asking for. He always wants that.
Live 15 doesn't have sliders.
I think they put them in the first time in 16.
Oh shit!
No. That's right. The first time they did put them in was in 16.
It was 16. Yeah, he asked me about College Hoops 2K8 because I remember I had an extra copy of College Hoops 2K8, and I was like, bro, I mean, if you want it, you got it. So I sent it to him. He was like, yeah, what sliders you got for that? He's like always asking for sliders. So I won't tell you just to play the default. It might not be for you. That's one reason why we're talking about it, because the way Bills may play, he may have like his run block in a certain way. Somebody else may want it another way. And I think that's one reason why we do this, because we want you guys to have a better game when it comes to your preference and what you need to do to tweak this and tweak that. It's so easy to just, now I always say this because it's been very prominent and some people still follow this. It's so easy to cut the game on and play, and when something goes wrong, you run and tell the world how bad the game is. And at the end of the day, we always tell you to get it at a price point that's good for you. And on top of that, you figure out how the best way to play the game to your liking. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. And I think we get, as a collective, we can grow a reals community where we, you know, actually put an emphasis on real sim gaming instead of just saying, "Hey, let's talk bad about the devs again." I mean, how many times and how many years you're going to keep doing that? I just think it's real dumb at this point. So,
Some people
um,
they can't breathe. They can't breathe without it. So
yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like I said, Bills is going to continue to work on what he has to work on with the sliders. I'm pretty sure within the
Yeah.
next week or so, we're
Mm.
gonna we're gonna have more information. But like for right now, I play
Maybe
default all.
not. If I get a
You
maybe
know,
not.
it's like at the end of the day, it's like I play on default all pro, and I mean if that works for you, that's great. You know what I mean?
hmm
It all works out at the end of the day. OG says, in the terms of simulation, fun, etc., all relative. What I think is fun or sim is going to be different from exactly, and that's
hmm
another reason why I changed my approach to these games because I'm thinking like, yo, why this cornerback's not backtracking? Why this ball is not being placed a certain place? Why this? Why that? And I'm like, well, let me see if I can get this to play out. So when I do play, I get logical outcomes. And I
But you
think
know,
I'm gonna let you go for a second. I think if everybody plays the game in most of the plays they play gets a logical outcome, any play they run in football, baseball, whatever sports game, if you get a logical outcome, say, hey, that makes sense. I think people will try to challenge themselves and actually have fun with the game. And I think that's the basic bottom line that everybody can agree on. We want logical outcomes. Now, what you about to say, Bill?
well, it's interesting to see OG say that from the perspective of he's a developer.
Right.
So I often wonder, like, what do they what do they view as sim that maybe we don't, and what do we view as sim that maybe they don't view as sim?
I can
Because I
probably.
think that's kind of
hmm
interesting. Um, some of the aspects that are in 2K that maybe some people would view as sim that others wouldn't, and maybe the devs would say, well, there's shit in the game that y'all wanted, but we didn't necessarily think that was realistic.
Right, right.
I would think they would take the simplistic approach to that, so that way they can try to avoid getting into that conundrum of defining it when
Right.
they are making the game. So if they keep it simple, it seems like they would be okay.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't realize that these games, the controls may be complicated to a good bit of people, but really the games, we just want simplicity when it comes to like either, player movement, AI logic, outcomes, just simple stuff that makes sense. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. Like the extra stuff, like that's the stuff that'll wow us. If you can get like a certain player to do a certain animation and another one can't. That's wow factor to me. Like, okay, I know Cole Beasley's not going to be able to do this specific catch that let's say Julio Jones could do, or like
hmm
say certain dribbling mechanics will be more effective with certain players. Those are the small things that blows me away. Like, okay, I'm with this because I know different players have different things that they can do. Outside of that, if I
Well,
run, if I play the game and it actually makes sense for the most part, I'm sorry, for the most part, I'm like 80, maybe 85% satisfied.
but this is the thing, and this is what I asked OG when he was here. Um, there are things that may be viewed as two simulation that go past the element of fun. So I
You the
guarantee
shot, for example, the shot stick.
we're not gonna. But not but no, I mean, like, there are things like, okay, I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people who play 2K don't want their the receiver of the pass to drop the pass, right?
Right.
let's see what OG said. What I'm saying is that my way of simulation could be the wrong way and too hardcore. I always want my game, and that's what I'm talking about. So
right, and that's the thing that I want as well.
Yep.
I'm 100% with him on that.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, OG might want something where you throw the ball, you pass the ball to the corner, and it's thrown too hard, and the guy you're throwing it to bobbles it, and it goes out of bounds. And somebody sitting at home will be like, right, and that's what I'm saying. And the person sitting at home will be all over Twitter, OG, this is the worst fucking thing ever, and why would you ever want somebody to catch to bobble the ball in the corner and have something that I can't control? So that's what I'm saying. You know, I think there's a niche group that want things like that, and then there's another group that says sim, but they're not really like hardcore sim.
Oh, they're not. They're
Well,
not. They're
well,
not. I mean, and a lot of people in this community or lack thereof in this community, they're not.
Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, the one cool thing, and I'm gonna just tie this up, is that you can't have simulation without emulation.
Okay, explain that a little bit.
They both. It's like one is to replicate what you see, and the other one is to run it as you see it. So those two always are going to be a factor whenever you're putting together a game or something of that matter.
Let's see what Pete Frenner said. I agree.
Hold on. OG said finally. He said you always want to be on the side of balance, which I do agree with that as well. You don't want.
Yeah, I'm all for balance. That's me.
What Pete Frenner said, I agree with 100%. So I have a problem with elements that defy realism being argued for, like user movement, for example. There are certain things that are non-debatable. Should foot planning be in Madden the way it is this year? Yes. There's no debate. If you don't want to play like that, then go play another game. Because there's no argument to be made that foot planning and having to slow down when you're cornering is sim. And if that's what you're going after, there's no debate. It's period in its story. Should layups hit the fucking backboard? Sorry, Smitty, I'm going to come at you again. You argued that it wasn't a necessity in Live 16. That's not debatable. Layups hit the backboard. That's basketball.
That's like basketball 101. That's like one of the first things you learn.
So when people argue against this shit, I'm with Pete. That shit annoys me because there are certain things like gameplay mechanics and controls that you can argue about all day. But there's certain elements that you know are realistic and have to be in the game, and they should not be debated. Because if you don't find it fun, that's one thing, but to sit there and argue and say that player movement is something that shouldn't be in the game as a result of the fact you don't like simulation, then you need to find another game. Period. You need to find another game. That's it. Find another game.
Pete also says a part of the balance between coverages and route combos is the amount of the grass you can cover. Well, I think I know what you mean, but I'm not sure if that's worded correctly. I don't say part of the balance. I'll just say that's basically just speed and speed parity.
But I think that is part of the balance, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to have a balance on how fast like linebackers are compared to tight ends, and I think that's
what he's saying.
That's what he's speed saying. Parity.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying, though.
Yeah, but when you say part of a balance between coverage and route combos is the amount of grass you can cover. Now you can say that for, let's say, a lineman or a DB. It should be much different. It should be a differentiation compared to a balance.
Speed parity.
That's what I was saying exactly.
But I think that's what Pete meant, though. I think he's saying
that's what I'm saying.
He's just saying it in an indirect manner.
Right. Yeah, right. That's what I was saying because I believe he said mean the same thing as well.
Because I talked about this in 2K where Giannis should cover ground faster, and I'm not talking about speed. I'm talking about steps. He should cover ground faster than guys smaller than him that might be faster. Mm-hmm. Because that's a stride thing. Like a lot of times, people call LeBron the fastest player in the league, which he is fast, but it was the amount of ground he covered. He's 6'8". So his speed is different than a Kemba Walker speed or a John Wall speed and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when Pete says things like that, it's kind of interesting because then you start to wonder, well, how much ground does a Richard Sherman cover in the cover 3 versus a guy who's shorter and has to take more steps to get to that point, right? I think it is important. How many steps do you have to take to get to this point compared to the next player? If you're in the zone and, if you're beat on a route and things like that. OG said, fumbling the snap inside the 5-yard line in the fourth quarter. Okay with that, or should it never happen? It should definitely happen.
I'll put it like this. There's so many things that could happen there. Let's just say, because I remember playing games from back in the day where the linemen were actually rattled. Go to NCAA 06, 07, 08. You play those football games, those players, if they're freshmen or if they just weren't good at the line, they were literally rattled where if you call an audible, they can't hear the play or they don't understand the play because they're new. Let's say if you're in a situation like that where he's probably been beat throughout the game and his confidence is not up or his composure is not up, like I said, like they have in NCAA on PS2 days, there's times where that could happen. I think it should happen.
I
don't think it should happen organically. It should be because, okay, I already know I got a bad lineman or I got a bad receiver or whatever the case may be. When crunch time comes, they may not perform well. So I think that's where it should happen.
I feel like with the balance of, realism and fun, simulation and fun, I think in this theme, especially with Madden having separate modes that you can play in, it probably should not happen in maybe an arcade mode or maybe a comp mode. But if you're running a simulation mode, then that's 100%. It should happen at whatever frequency according to a player ratings or a game situation and stuff like that. Because that's what simulation, if we're looking at Madden, that's what part of what simulation is about. But if you're playing arcade mode, then don't worry about it. If you're playing comp mode, you're talking about like people needing to switch and nobody controls the center and you don't want anything outside your own user control to affect the game. So no, not on comp, not on arcade, but on simulation, yes.
I think there are a couple things that need to come into play. Obviously, game situation, he said, inside the 5-yard line in the fourth quarter. Then you have to look at who's this lineman lining up against. Is it a guy that's been beating him all game?
Right.
Because they show those tick marks with the lineman. So that should be important. And also the guy's clutch rating. If he has a clutch rating, like we talked about 2K, obviously I don't think in Madden they really have that, but that's something that they would probably have to add. I would
add a composure rating.
Yeah, a composure rating. And there's some you used to be able to zoom out in the play art menu and kind of look at that stuff.
Right.
So
tell you, yeah, exactly.
I think as long as the game gives you that information that you can look at that's readily available, you shouldn't have any problem. Well, I would say you shouldn't have any problem. I wouldn't have any problem if that happened because I can look and see, oh, well, he's rattled, so this might not turn out the way I want to.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like when you talk about past episodes, when we talk about franchise modes or things that we used to have, exactly what we're talking about. I said this was in NCAA 06, 07, 08, where the composure rating the composure rating was there. And if it wasn't, the composure was low, you have instantly have bad snaps or they just don't know how to block or they'll get ran over, they'll get beat, or some receivers can't catch. That's just how it was. So that's how it was in Dynasty of franchise modes. Like those are the things that we're asking for again, and we just haven't got them the way that way it should be.
And that's the thing. I mean, there are plenty of aspects we can talk about, like 2K doesn't really have a situation where you slip on a wet spot on the court, right? Imagine if that happened, people would spaz out, right?
Right.
Well, shoot, according to this latest poll that Mike Wang has out there about should you see the other person's green release, I'm like,
well, my thing is, why does it matter? That's what I would ask. Is why would what does that affect if the shot's going in? There's not really anything you can do.
Like to me, it just seems like why are you worried about the other team or other player displaying information that you don't really? It's like taking the mystery out of just the game. I'm like, you want to know if a shot's gonna go in, but you're not the one taking the shot. So really, it's none of your business if it's a green release or not. If it goes in, it goes in.
Because we've seen situations 2K's added these loose ball animations in the last couple of years that I haven't really seen people complain too much about.
Right.
So if that's the case, then I think 2K can start to ease some of those animations in where, like you say, a guy drops a pass or anything like that. Maybe he shoots the ball and the ball slips out of his hands. That might be a bit far, but the thing as far as like throwing a pass and it's too fast for the guy, or there could be a number of things. Maybe it's another thing. Maybe the ball gets tipped on the way to the receiver. That's another thing you don't see much in 2K. The ball gets tipped, and then the guy has to catch it after the fact in the corner.
Right.
That would be another opportunity for it to bounce off his hands. So those are things that I would definitely be open to in the game.
Oh, I mean, just for instance, let's say if you're running down the court and you're on a fast break and you try to pass it to the guy on the wing, and if you pass it too fast and they don't catch it, it hits their hand, but they just miss it or something.
How about somebody just randomly falling?
That's another thing.
I've
been asking for years for that footwork in the paint with the Euro step and spins to matter. You should step on somebody's foot and fall. You should run into somebody, bump into them, and lose the ball. There's a lot of there are things that should happen to you when you try these moves in traffic. And that's the thing. People don't want to be penalized for trying shit in traffic.
Right.
So, it's like if you're Giannis and you try to Euro step and there's two guys under the basket with their hands straight up like this, you should lose the ball or run into a brick wall and not be able to get a shot up, or you should step on one of their feet or something like that. But it just doesn't happen. So that's what did she say?
I saw that. I died. I'm gonna leave that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like I said,
some things never change.
Right.
You're right about that.
But there are a lot of things 2K can put in that would be, I would say, too sim for some people. So that's kind of the unfortunate part.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, I think there's a common thread of not wanting the core game to be interrupted, like the flow of the core game to be interrupted by just those little things. Like us, we'd be tickled by those things, but everybody else, they're like, no, they'll probably drop the controller. They'll probably, because if it's hard coded into the game, then they would be just like, no.
And with these new sliders for 2K, I'm really interested to see some of the things that they added, because I almost forgot that they said that, which is another reason for me to get the game. That's going to be interesting. 2K really only adds sliders that are, they work when you adjust them. They don't really add any ones that don't work the way they should.
And here's another thing that I wish developers would do more, and I felt like Czar did it a little bit. Recommended sliders based on what he or she feels as far as how they play the game. Because they make the game, but then they have to make the game for a general audience, so everything's going to be according to a consensus. But it's just like your personal opinion and having that insight.
I wonder how many of them, and this is across all of the sports games, how many of them do play on sliders? It seems like, because here's my thing. Here's where the slippery slope comes. They don't want to openly talk about sliders, and I can understand why, because the thing is, somebody from the outside looking in will say, well shit, I mean, aren't we past that point? Like, shouldn't the game come out on default and Just be good.
Mm.
Like, why should I have to unlock these animations or, you know, that's why I think they don't address sliders as much because I'd really be interested to see which devs play with sliders. And that's Madden, 2K, FIFA, all of them, NHL. I'd really be interested to know because, go ahead.
Yeah, because one thing about my experience with NHL is going through the forums. There was one forum thread where apparently this person was talking to an NHL developer about how to have the game, how to set up sliders for the game to play at 20 minutes per period. And the fact they said that their main process was making sure that you slow down the player's speed, you slow down accuracy on shots and passes, so that way it created a more messy game.
Right.
So,
yeah. So I mean,
okay. No, you good. No, you good.
Now I was gonna say, yeah. So that's my thing is the developers obviously know how the game works, and most of them. I'm not gonna touch on Madden because we've already gone down that rabbit hole where they can't explain sliders. But 2K, they know how the ratings work. They know how the sliders work, and I'd really be interested to see what things they see from the sliders when they start to tweak them, because I feel like with Madden, a lot of times we bring up shit with the sliders and then either they like go into the hood and fix it and don't say anything, and all of a sudden it doesn't work. Like this situation with the quarterbacks, right? I could have fixed it easily if it was 2 years ago. Then they went and rewrote the code for the quarterbacks again. Now it's back to the same shit. With 2K, it's like sliders seem to operate kind of the same every year, which is a positive because they usually operate pretty well if you know which ones to adjust. And if you ask them, they'll be able to tell you what acceleration, hustle, and things like that do. So I'd really be interested to see what some of them play on as far as sliders are concerned.
I don't know. Maybe one day OG will tell us and he'll let us know.
Maybe. Shit. For all we know, he might play on default Hall of Fame.
Right.
But I mean, another thing, I'm pretty sure, like the way he said earlier about he wanted to play, as close to realism as possible. I'm really curious if he play on 12-minute quarters because I know I do.
I would think he would have to.
I think DJ does as well. We both play on 12-minute quarters.
Wow, shit. I've been doing that since about 2K11.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I look at NHL, they program that game out the gate to play at 10 minutes. Like they literally have it. Like the clock it's an accelerated clock feature.
When you do it on 20?
He said one day.
One day. One day, yeah.
Well, I mean that's why Tuesdays. Is that the baby's what?
That's what I'm trying to.
What was it? Fuck, she threw me all off.
Yeah,
that's why Tuesday is gonna be interesting. I'm really interested to see what sliders they've added or they've changed the way they operate. It feels like the way.
Wait a minute, but the game's not coming out on Tuesday. It's coming out on Friday.
I thought it was coming out.
You're talking about 2K, right?
I thought
NBA 2. No, it's coming out
the second, right?
No, 4. There's no early access for that.
Yeah, that comes out.
It's next Friday.
Yeah, it's next Friday.
It comes out on the 4th. Yeah.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah,
that's even better. Good.
Speaking of a game that's coming out later, let's talk about NHL 21. We got some information out about it. Not much, but it was something. Do y'all remember exactly what I said? I don't have it pulled up right now, so I need to pull that up.
I actually have. Hold up, let me. Because I have it up. I had the tab ready.
Yeah, I thought I had it up myself.
Like what they have is like a summary. Oh, you got it?
I'm on their page right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on GameSpot's page.
Gameplay in NHL 21 has gotten smarter, faster, and a lot flashier. With innovative moves and massive improvements on both sides of the puck, players have more options than ever to take control of the game and impose their play style on opponents. Recognize revolutionary with that's stupid. Recognize revolutionary with gameplay in NHL 21. Then they talk about be a pro. A brand new Be a Pro experience gives you the chance to live the life of an NHL player on and off the ice. Impress the front office, go early in the draft, chase greatness as you earn your spot on the first line, compete for
It's
Stanley
basically
Cup.
it's basically their version of My Player.
Yeah, World of Shell, they haven't
As
really.
as far as that is concerned, I feel like this was like, I wouldn't say the final frontier, but as far as people in the forums complaining about Be a Pro, this was like the final frontier to get it back to where it was at NHL, I think 14, as far as the Be a Pro. I'm like,
Right.
because it was about, the life of an NHL player, so you were given options to either like hang out with your teammates or get some more training in, stuff like that. That would affect how you would relate to either management, your players, and even fans. So
I sent the Game Informer. Game Informer always has more info than
Yeah,
everybody
they
else.
tend to. I agree.
So they're
Which is,
talking about Deeks a lot. Like they're talking about like a new
the Michigan play. Yeah. I'm like, one worry about that is that some people are trying to figure out how OP that move is going to be, because literally it's supposed, you would think in a video game, not in real life it doesn't guarantee that they're going to score, but in a video game that seems like a guarantee that is going in without the
right.
goalie being able to counter that.
Okay, this isn't okay.
No,
I was gonna say this is interesting. EA Vancouver also said it paid close attention to improving teammate AI, so they will better support your decisions and make smarter ones themselves when it comes to driving plays and finishing.
That's
They
yeah, but
should
that's
they
on
should be better.
offense.
Well, they should be better at recognizing passing lane shot opportunities and what the user controlled player is doing. Goalies have been overhauled with better decision making and positioning alongside new animations and desperation saves. That is on the offensive side.
Yeah, because I know you and our concern has been the defensive side,
And we have talked about the offensive side too.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, but the defensive side is definitely the more pressing issue.
Yeah, because I felt like they keep giving more moves to the offense and don't really address, defensive positioning. In defensive positioning, as far as team defense, not just individual positioning, because it seems playing NHL 20 and obviously all the other NHLs, it just seems like the individuals play defense, but the team doesn't play defense. Like they don't hold their spots. Like if I'm on a power play and the penalty kill on the opposing team, there's that one guy that tends to ruin the whole thing for the penalty kill. It's just like I could easily cheese that, and then it's really in jeopardy when I'm controlling the penalty kill and that one guy, my AI guy, just does whatever. And then there's the whole thing where they just bunch together and can't seem to like get away from each other.
The other thing they haven't talked about is, we have to go through all types of hoops to make the computer dump the puck on the higher difficulties.
Yep.
They've never really addressed that, like specific strategies to, dumping the puck, dump and chase. A lot of teams on that game don't play dump and chase.
Right.
So that's an unfortunate thing because, when you watch hockey, it's not just them coming down and stopping mid ice and saying, okay, who can I pass to now? They don't have that time. They're good. The other team's cutting off passing lanes and they have to dump the puck and kind of reset. And yeah, so there's certain things that they just don't have in the game as far as the computer doing simple things like, stopping behind the net, waiting for the guys to reset, maybe making a long pass down the boards. There's all kinds of things that we do when we play each other, but the computer doesn't. So.
Yeah, because you're talking about also being able to just deflect off those long passes, just being able to deflect the puck back into the zone without possessing it. I'm like, that's very much a thing when you're about to commit a line change or just want to set up your forecheck. So
yeah, I would like to see them address. The pace of the game. The pacing, like Pez Pez fell off for a year or so with their pacing. They tried to get a little bit too FIFA-ish. Then last year they got back to basics. The pacing is a lot better. There's a lot more slow build-ups for teams that want to, pass the ball around. And a lot of times they'll retreat. They'll pass it back to their keeper, and then there's a lot of different elements. But NHL is just so up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and
right? You literally have to go into the sliders and just slow and just reduce the speed slider. Like speed, I think I wanted to like bring the acceleration back, but it was just like you just had to get that point to point or get those long passes enacted in NHL. So they need to
Attribute
do something
effects,
about the. Mm-hmm.
attribute effect slider.
Yeah,
Yep.
because Pete says dumping chase isn't effective in NHL. He also says problems with the speed. You can tell he watching me play the games. You can tell he watching play his games. Problems with the speed and puck being too easy to catch off the boards.
We've
Another
talked
thing,
about reception ease so much, me and DJ.
yeah. Another thing that bothers me is that the CPU can possess the puck faster,
Yeah.
no matter what, than you can. Like you can get a pass, you can possess a pass, and then immediately lose it when the CPU goes for it. But or when you're battling along the boards, or what little battling along the boards that they have in the current
Which is
game,
another thing.
all of a sudden the CPU can quickly come up with it, but it takes you forever for you to possess it. So
And yeah, that's another thing that needs to be overhauled. I mean, I know it seems like we're like hammering NHL, but we've talked about this shit for years. I mean, board play needs to be overhauled and more dynamic than the typical, slide and morph into place. And it's just there's a lot of things, man. There's just so many things.
right, I'm like, you're talking about a game that actually innovated with the physics engine amongst the EA products. So I think you would transition that physics engine into the board play to get. And I remember I was able to get the sliders in past NHLs to the point where it felt like it was an organic process along the boards, and plays were being stalled out, because that's another thing. The scrum, it's not just one or two that go at it; it's a whole bunch. And you're talking about now, if it doesn't come out of that corner, I think within what they do I think they do a 5 second count. If it's still 5 to 10 seconds, and then they blow the whistle, like, nope, we got to take this face off, whatever, because the puck's not moving. You guys aren't moving.
But if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
also you told me that didn't one of the devs say something about the fact that they didn't want to make the stick and the puck its own thing because they didn't.
Yeah. Was it Sean Ramjing Singh? I think that's his name. I think he was the one that, because he was like, it's not fun when the physics are all working all at once, because it's like all of a sudden it becomes this messy game, and it's just like,
that's what hockey is.
That's what we want. But then it goes with OG saying earlier about the balance between simulation and fun.
But
I'm
that's
like,
why.
yeah.
But that's why I asked the question, DJ. How do people play soccer games then? Because every soccer game.
I know. I played the Chicken World Cup.
No, boy.
I knew you were gonna say this.
Yo,
but
that game's the GOAT, bro.
That game is ass.
No, it's not.
but like in soccer games, all of those games, even FIFA with its shortcomings, the ball is its own entity. It's not locked to anybody's foot. So in hockey, I don't get why, if people can play soccer, they can play hockey the same way. I just don't get it.
And see, and that's the thing. It's just like, I look at even MLB The Show, who has a limited physics engine running, because they've gone on record and said that if they run full physics, it's gonna like slow down, or they're not gonna be able to run the game. I'm just like, but you're gonna have players morphing into each other when you're trying to combine two separate canned animations to show a player being taken out at second. Obviously, you don't have people taking out the catcher anymore, but you still have to show that you can apply the tag where the ball can possibly come out if a knee or whatever makes contact with the glove. You got players who are just running back to the huddle at the dugout after they've been called out. They're coming back, and while the highlights or the clip is playing, the post-play clip is playing, they're running through other players. They're morphing, they're clipping through these players. Sometimes they avoid, but then you have that. So it's just like, I'm like, and you're right about the object of the sport being its own entity. That's something that all games should eventually get to. I'm like, and that's what I know Smitty made a point about the passing as far as uh, it being tethered so much, like a little bit to the receiver, but then at the same time, um, it I'm like Madden needs to do separate that, make the football its own entity because I'll go as far as say when you do that toss sweep animation, that ball does not.
Tethered.
It is seriously tethered. And it's funny because it wasn't that way before. So why tether it in this case?
And Sim made a video, not to get back on Madden, but Sim made a video that confirmed what a lot of us believe, which was that ball, when they're reaching it across the goal line and they want that to be a touchdown, it's going to go through some legs, some arms, some hands. So
and especially
that's the thing, man, with these sports games. Like the ball has to, whether it's the puck, football, basketball, it has to be individual, has to be its own individual entity. And I'm not a gameplay designer, but I mean, I would hope that there was some type of way where they can program the ball, the object of the sport, and everything else around it.
Well, the thing is, I would think it would be the players having to adjust to the object and not the other way around.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you have cases in Madden where there's a rocket catching and stuff like that, but that's due to I feel like it's due to forced animations and either too many contact points to initiate a can sequence, or just I'm like, because you do have instances where the ball just sails and nobody really reacts to it, and it's just like, okay, that's an instance where it seems like that nothing's tethered, but if it gets too close, that point of contact to start the animation, it just seems like it happens too soon. So that's where you get like the shifting, because all of a sudden, okay, it's nearby, boom, it's here now, and then it continues.
And that's the issue is they also, it seems like they put these handcuffs in the game where they know the ball moves faster than people. Apex has always made this point, and B5 has made this point, and I've made this point, especially in a basketball game, but also in a football game. The ball in a basketball game is going to move faster than the people, period. That's why it's so hard to defend teams that pass well, because the ball moves faster than humans can usually react, and definitely moves faster than humans can run. And a lot of times when you see these speed up animations, it's a result of they don't want there to be so many turnovers because the ball's moving faster than humans. So they kind of have to speed them up to complete the pass that really shouldn't be completed. And Madden's kind of gotten rid of that in a way. You remember they used to have that sideline catch that they'd always used to morph into somehow. That doesn't happen anymore. But they still have the two-player animations where the two players come together and So
and that's why I like with NHL and even PES, you see it to where like if a pass gets up on a person too quickly, either they'll fumble it around, they can't control it, or they just miss it altogether. And you can actually adjust that part in NHL.
So what about this right here? Pete says goalies are another issue. Their positioning is too tethered to the puck instead of using angles and ratings. Now, see, I'm just sitting here listening because y'all know I play I play NHL 14. I haven't played an NHL game. I played 18 briefly, but not as much as you guys have. So I'm just listening to what you guys are saying because I'm debating on getting 21.
I'll let DJ go.
I don't think it's tethered so much because they literally are operating off their own vision cone. So if they're aware of the puck, that's their main focus as a goaltender is to stop the puck. Secondarily, they'll be aware of positioning of their other players. I think one of the things that for the last game they talked about that the fact that goaltenders will take into account their own players' defensive positioning to adjust their position. But that's secondary. But the primary is always they're focused on the puck. That's their primary. So as far as it feeling like it's tethered, it's because that's the primary thing that goaltenders the way it seems like it's programmed. That's what they're looking at, and then everything else is secondary.
I think the issue is the same issue that they have with defensive players in general, which is they don't know how to recognize the most dangerous threat to score positionally a lot of times. So, like, me and you had the back and forth where I said, these defenders aren't reacting to guys that are on the break coming into the slot where they can just sniper a goal right in. It's like, when you watch hockey in real life, guys usually never get into that position. If they do, they get bumped off the puck or, so in NHL, they kind of let guys get into that position so easily. And then it's like, in 2K, it's like I say about help defense in 2K. Once I got the whole, don't stay attached thing, I started noticing a lot better reactions, especially in pick and roll. But the thing with how it seems like they program, and obviously Scott OG's on the defensive side, so he can tell me, but it seems like when they program it, the way it would be in the NBA in real life is the player has to look and say, what is this guy's strength? So if it's Draymond Green, I'm not going to rotate to him because he's not a jump shooter, right? So the threats. If LeBron's driving to the basket, you're going to rotate. Even if it leaves a shooter open, you're going to rotate, right? But in NHL, it's like they'll see three guys on a break, and then maybe another guy will come back on their team, and he'll get back in position, and then they won't be able to read, okay, shit, this guy's in the scoring position. I need to step up and address this. They'll just let him get to that spot and then try to block the shot, or it's just.
And that seems like that's more on the actual defense in front of the goaltender. The goaltender is still, again, their primary focus is to focus on where the puck is. And then I know Pete talked about Riz's ugly head on breakaways, and it's just like on breakaways, what is a goaltender to do on those cases? Because you can get a lot of 2-on-none, 2-on-1, where the goaltender is trying to decide, okay, defenseman, which one are you going to take away while I'm looking at the puck?
Exactly.
And then you make that late pass. That's it. I'm like, both are dead in the water because the defense didn't, take away the one threat so the goaltender could focus on the other threat. And that's actually an issue in real life hockey. The goaltenders are constantly trying to take away the initial threat. The defenders are supposed to, if they're there, they're supposed to take away that secondary threat. It's not all on the goaltender.
It's just like in soccer where most of soccer is zone defense. And in PES, they have to realize this guy's getting into a prime scoring position. We need to go and get this ball off him.
Right.
And they have a sense of urgency, right? Just like in NBA 2K where they close out, they have a sense of urgency. In the way they move, they have a sense of urgency. They're not trotting out there like they're going to contest the shot. So with NHL, I want to see the defenders a bit more adamant about going and closing down these guys that are getting, especially when it's an Ovechkin or a Crosby or a Stamkos that is getting into a prime scoring position. If you're outnumbering him and you don't have another guy that you have to worry about a one-timer coming from, you got to close him down. You have to.
Yeah, because even right now, just to look at NHL again, I'm like, even though you could press a button and start a jostling animation, I think jostling should not be a button press. It should be a contextual animation.
It should.
That runs on the physics engine because hockey players jostle all the time.
If you skate up to the guy on the boards, that's how, like, you shouldn't skate up to the guy and just like, if you're not skating full speed, you shouldn't just ram into him. If you skate up to him and he's on the boards, it should automatically go into that. Like you said, it shouldn't be a button press. So
But it's not even just that. It's also the fact that they jostle while they're away from the boards. I'm like, you got a lot of people. Like, I know offense has the one where you can stick your arm out, but the defense does that too. I'm like, it's a lot. I'm like, I hope they get into the whole jersey grabbing. I hope they get into stuff like that. Like, you have players that fall to the ground. You got a player on top just holding him down. And what I would think would be a holding penalty, but that for a short moment of time, you can actually pin a player for a little bit, like stuff like that. Um, and obviously, as the game plays on, you should see more of that because players get tired. They're gonna start pulling. They're gonna start holding people up more, and that's how the game gets.
And that's the
Not
thing for
this
this team.
fast pace up and down throughout the whole entire game where it feels like no one gets tired and no one's able to play defense because they're constantly doing this.
And that's the thing is like, we talk about in FIFA, they have all
Mhm.
these sliders for width and, the length of the pitch, how much of the length of the pitch they're keeping, how far up they are, the height.
Mhm.
And that's another thing that I think NHL needs to add where you can, because the thing about hockey is their alignment is such that they try to force a pass into a location where you can't necessarily be accurate. And in NHL, it doesn't really feel like that. It feels like they're too far in the back foot sometimes to the point where you're getting the puck up the court, up the ice, and maybe
Right.
somebody will cut you off on the boards. But
Mhm.
it has to be a point where they force you to reset behind the ice, behind the net, and then you have to look for a pass instead of just being able to skate and weave through people. There should
Right.
be better positional awareness, just like I said in FIFA, where they force you to do point-to-point passing and
Mhm.
slowly but surely work your way up the field. That's how hockey should be. That's what will make it a messy, grimy game where you don't have so many shot attempts and things like that. So
I feel like threat assessment is a missing element to all
it
these
is.
sports games.
It
Like
is.
yeah, 2K as far as being able to double team and change the defensive settings, not just with the user but also with the AI. You see that with all the other sports, like maybe MLB, but that's so methodical. You don't really give it time to see how either the AI or you adjust to a bigger threat at the either at the plate or on the mound. But all these other games seem like there's no real threat assessment. It's more or less, oh, there's a guy there. Boom. Don't matter if it's Ovechkin or Simmons. For all I know, I'm like, obviously the bigger threat is Ovechkin, but Simmons there, there's more of a tendency to, he's over there. He's not gonna do anything. Oh, Ovechkin's like, oh no, let me keep a player over there, and that also goes into the being able to set up a I said defensive settings as far as 2K, having defensive settings beyond just the formation and collapsing strategies and the forecheck, having the ability to be like, okay, well, Ovechkin's on the ice. How are we going to play him on the power play? Stuff like that. How are we
Ovechkin
going to play in general?
specifically, and
Yeah.
also like I said, do you want to keep the width of the ice and cut off the boards? Do you
Mm-hmm.
want to keep the middle of the ice and kind of force them onto the boards because you have quick wingers that can get back and kind of cut them off and defensemen that can cover a lot of ground? There's a lot of things that they can do, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just there has to be a way for these teams to to make the game messier and not have such a it's like what I always say, it plays too clean a brand of hockey, right?
Yes, that's
It's
what.
like people always just say, in Madden, it plays too clean of a brand of football. The pockets are always clean. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
perfect parabola, and then that's what I talk about with NHL. It's too clean of a hockey game. Hockey is not a clean sport.
Yeah, and like I said, unfortunately, it's these sports games suffer. I'm like, the balance has to be there, but it's just like because I think there's more of a reason for people that more of the casuals want that clean brand of the sport instead of the real sport. Then you get games that come off the shelves clean as hell, but it's up to us to go in there, change certain sliders and stuff like that. But there's certain stuff that it should be there from the beginning.
Right. I mean, the game should replicate the
Yeah.
sport, so I totally agree.
Yep.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
mean,
what the hell?
you kind of, because you kind of like want that, you kind of want that like in football, because Madden is kind of like guilty of that too. It's like you get a real clean game of football as well. I mean, even in the trenches, it's just not. is not where you want.
I mean,
it to
that's
be.
the
It
thing.
just
That's the
seems a little
thing
bit too
in
clean,
2K, in PES, and to a certain extent, MLB2, where 2K
Yeah,
well, no,
MLB is a
I was
very
gonna say
clean
the
game.
opposite because, like, okay, 2K for example, you have the illegal screens, right?
Mm.
That messes the game up. Now, the one thing I like to see 2K a little bit more is maybe more blocking fouls to kind of slow the pace of the game down.
Yeah,
And
the
and some
blocking and
things
charging.
like that.
Yeah.
Charging. Oh, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I took a charge in the demo. It seems like the charging may have been improved a little bit, taking charges. But I like to see more players take charges. There should be players that are known for taking charges
And then
on the CPU that you don't see, like under the basket. Because you know
Right.
these teams set traps. Like they'll hide the guy and he'll pop out of nowhere and he'll take the charge. Shane Battier was great for that. So that's what I mean when I say, like, you know, in MLB The Show, right? You'll have a situation where a guy will make really, really soft contact, and then your third baseman will have to sprint down the line and throw him. You know what I'm saying? Like plays like that don't happen very often, but it just kind of keeps it keeps the game organic. It keeps the game organic, and it keeps it messy. Like, you know, Madden, like sometimes you'll run into your lineman's back, and that's what you should want, to run into your lineman's back, or have a quarterback. His lineman gets backed into him and he gets sacked like that. That messes up the game. Or have a defensive tackle just have a defensive tackle mess up the middle of the line and kind of destroy and wreak havoc on the line, right? That's what you want to see. You don't always have to make the tackle. Sometimes the defensive tackle can just eat a double team and cause havoc, man.
You know, it's funny.
This is sleepy. This is sleepy.
He's imitating Bill's rant from earlier.
Oh,
he was like, knocking stuff over, and
in 10 or 20 minutes he'd be imitating a sleeping baby. He's sleeping. He's trying to stay awake. But yeah, I think that's another thing. Like, you don't see too many games that are, like you said, with 2K. You have to, like, in some cases, force to get a shooting foul or a blocking foul. It doesn't just happen. You know, one thing I do notice, like, you can get a lot of illegal screens if you just got the wrong person, you know, setting a pick. I've seen that. But,
I think it should be more on the user sometimes with that illegal screen thing too. There needs to be a situation where you don't set up the screen correctly and the guy can't get set and it's your fault. I think once we start seeing that, that'll be even better.
Yeah, and I think just with Madden, I mean, just talk about a clean game. I'm not even talking about penalties. You just, like, a lot of things happen in the game. It just seems like it's really, to an extent, just feel like it looks too good at times, where a block or somebody's running the ball, it just looks like it's just supposed to happen that way, instead of something that's like, like more of a in the trenches type thing where you bounce off of a couple of guys. It's like you have to do that yourself instead of it, happening, with the CPU. Think
about 2K5. Think about 2K5. How much time it took to cover even 5 yards of ground trying to get through the trenches and bounce off your linemen and things like that. In Madden, you cover 5 yards. It seems like, pretty quick, just not based on not having to bounce off your linemen and things like that. I definitely agree with that. I mean, another one is EA UFC. The animations are a bit too clean, and the ground game's a bit too clean, where you get to those positions like half guard and side control where it's too clean of an appearance. Like, if you watch a UFC fight, they're not always inside control, just like that, where they have the guy and he's sitting there just.
I think another thing, like PS2 Maddens and, like you said, 2K5, they did a good job of making the game a little bit grimy. You really haven't seen that like in a long time.
Because football games are. Yeah. I mean, when you watch, football games in real life they're grimy.
Right. Yeah, and I think NFL Fever did a really good job of that as well when I was playing Fever. That's another good game that does it. They try to replicate the sport where anything, that's out of the way can happen, instead of like saying, programming wise, everything just kind of falls in line when it works together. Like we were talking about earlier, like you want certain things to happen that's different, or you want like certain players to do things wrong, and it causes the entire play to somewhat like fall to the wayside a bit, and you really have to struggle to get to that, to the like those 3 or 4 yards. You shouldn't have to get 5 yards, because everything worked out perfectly.
And
You know
another
what I mean?
game I'll talk about that I may get some flack for this. Backbreaker was probably the best at it. Being able to break off a run in Backbreaker,
game, yeah, absolutely.
Being able to run through the tackles in Backbreaker and break off a run,
skill. And the only person I know how to do that consistently is LT. Because
BB and LT,
yeah, those two they swear about
BB
that
and
game.
LT.
Yeah, they swear by that game.
Most realistic trenches you'll ever see.
Yeah,
and then for the fact that running wise, players would lean into different parts,
and if you hit that turbo too quick, man,
it was over.
Yeah, you talking about weight? You know, that's one thing I can say. The game wasn't that good as far as weight and momentum because the physics was real loose. But as far as running, like it felt like it was weighty when you had to turn and make a direction because you saw the player literally lean when they turned or whatever.
The issue with Backbreaker was Backbreaker had a obviously great physics system, the best we've seen as far as tackling, right? But they didn't take the things into account that we would want. Like, for example, weight, right? Weight didn't really matter. It was more so, it kind of was momentum in a way. They did take momentum into account, but they didn't take weight into account.
Right.
So a cornerback would be able to lay out.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. Momentum did matter, but not weight.
You know, cornerbacks would come and lay out fullbacks and halfbacks easily. But, you know, I would like to see a defensive tackle have, you know, an easier time taking down a halfback than a cornerback. You know, the tackles looked amazing. I mean, I used to go back and play that game just to see the tackles. I mean,
I thought I had that game on 360. I don't.
I need to re-download it because that game, just for the tackling alone, anybody in the chat, if you haven't played Backbreaker, the tackling in that game is the best you will see.
I literally thought I had that game on 3. I got it on PS3, but I thought I had it on 360 as well.
Now,
Cuba's Ladybug, man.
I know, right?
I saw that too.
Now, just to wrap up NHL 21, they were supposed to release information as far as the world of Chell, but in unison and showing unity with, you know, even the real life NHL, they decided to postpone the release of that information. And then there's supposed to be like a closed technical test that would just include, I think, online versus, and I think HUT. They've postponed making that available for people who signed up for it. So, but right now, their current schedule as it stands for the upcoming news, World of Chell is going to be to be determined probably next week. Mid-September would be gameplay. Late September, HUT. Early October, you'll get more information about Be a Pro, and also early October franchise mode. They'll probably combine them two in the same. And obviously, these dates are subject to change, so just throw that in there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. But it'll be interesting to see outside what we already know now, what they reveal later.
I'm really interested to see what the hell FIFA's going to do because, I mean, that game had a horrible year last year. The year before that was okay, but last year was terrible. You know, I could deal with the way the game moves, but
I'm sorry, Pete. Yes, they do have a practice mode in EA SHL. That was one thing that was revealed. There will be a practice mode, and actually, it will go beyond than what I think folks were expecting. So you're getting your wish.
But yeah, FIFA, man, you know, FIFA was terrible last year. Like I said, I could deal with the way the game moves, but
a lot of people have been saying FIFA hasn't been good for like maybe the last 2-3 years.
But the thing is, I can deal with the way the game moves. It's more so the AI last year that was deplorable. And they claim they worked on it, but the defensive AI was just terrible. You'd be able to just, you know, you kick a couple through balls, and I mean, you could just out sprint everybody, which was weird that you could just out sprint everybody consistently. You could just take your fastest player. They had no sense of positioning. You could out sprint them and then just threw ball right in front of the keeper and a goal every time. And that's on the hardest difficulty. And, you know, I want to see what they're going to do this year. Obviously, they're making a next-gen title. They got to come with it, man, because, you know, Pez is taking the year off, and you know they're going to come back crazy next year.
Because if you have PES 20, you're basically getting an update, and that would be PES 21. But PES 22, yeah.
Honestly, it's a safe assumption that PES 20 is going to be better than FIFA 21
only
at this point.
Only thing that I'm concerned about is that PES is moving away from the Fox engine. And that engine, I felt like, was perfect for player movement.
True.
So
hopefully they have something better in store.
All right, so let's go to the chat a little bit. You know, we can't really. Can we highlight anybody? Nope, we can't highlight anybody.
I don't think we can. That's VF's.
Okay, so let me just. I might, besides cute Miss Ladybug's statements and stuff like that. Let's see. Noble says, "I just like the fighting in hockey."
That's because you have a. That's because you have a temper problem.
Typical. Let's see. Typical nigga shit. Just play the sport. So
Noble's not a nigga.
Wish a motherfucker would.
Noble's not a nigga though.
But I said typical. I wasn't calling him. Come on, here we go with the context. I wasn't calling him that. I was just saying that his actions were displaying nigga shit. So I was just saying. And again, I just want to make it clear.
I'm from Chicago.
So, I'm gonna just make this clear again. Noble
well, OG said be ready. What do you mean be ready?
He's gonna have to make that clear. I'm gonna just make this clear again. Noble was named after a team that was decimated in Halo Reach. So I would just want to make that PSA again. So whenever he says something, I'm gonna say that.
Noble, I won a game. I won a game with the Bears. I won a game with the Bears on Madden 21. If that's
Were you playing on arcade mode? Or were you playing the yard, as in prison yard? Because that's what they have in Chicago.
I'm trying to remember who I played. I played somebody. I like shut him down because that defense is like crazy. And Trubisky only had to throw the ball like 15 times because we were controlling the pace of the game. I won like 15-6 or something like that. The defense is crazy. OG, we need some clarification.
Yeah, you're talking about be ready. We don't even know what you're saying. Be ready
what
for.
What are we supposed to be ready for?
We know the game comes out next week, but it's like, oh damn. She said, "Yup, Noble seems inside angry." Ooh.
Inside angry.
In other words, Noble, keep your inside voice inside before they kick your ass outside.
Chris Thomas, what's going on? P. Frenner said, "I want my players getting COVID in next year's game." Look,
wow.
Look. All right. I just wanted Madden for them to stop putting their arm behind their back when they get hurt.
Wow.
On both knees and their arm behind their back when they hurt their leg. That's what I want.
Well, shoot, the way they show off all injuries, MAGA people should be highly upset.
I mean, and then the other thing is, I really and Scott G's probably gonna laugh at this. I want the bubble to be an option in NBA 2K21.
They can burst that bubble for all I care. I know cute Miss Ladybug is going to take advantage of that. That's free ammo if you want to use it.
Oh, look, the way she's been talking in this comment section, she's out here courting some dudes to burst her bubble. She sounded a little frisky over there. Sounded a little frisky over there.
It's like a full moon is out tonight.
Oh man. You want to wait till he gets back to do that Cold War? Let me just get into it.
Let's bring up Black Ops because it's already a couple of things that have popped up, but let me bring it up on my end.
Reagan sends you to do war crimes.
And apparently it's drop off drugs in the black neighborhoods. I don't know if that was a joke or
man.
That would be. I'm like, it wouldn't shock me.
They got that dude looking realistic as fuck too.
Well, it's funny because it's like you look at the like one of the last few Black Ops games, they
I
had
haven't seen the trailer.
JFK. Um,
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good trailer. I was looking at it earlier.
let's see. Let me pull it up on my
Yeah,
browser.
I'm about to watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I was watching it earlier.
Yeah, because I know I talked about I think on Tuesday that they would have like a zombies mode, the regular traditional multiplayer. Because I was trying to justify why they make having players who like if they get the game on current gen that $10 and charging possibly 70 for somebody who's getting just the next gen. It's like what type of I don't know if I was saying that on Twitter, if I mentioned on the podcast Tuesday, but it's like what justifies the $70 price tag for Call of Duty that's basically just mostly based on current gen?
I think you get to play it across. I think you get to play across with people on PC or something like
They
that.
did that free update with Ghost, and that game was ass on both consoles. Ghost was one of the worst shooters ever.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be the case. This looks good.
No. Yeah, Call of Duty's gotten themselves back on track with the past couple ones. So
yeah, so
Pandemic got a bitch.
Ghost, ain't no reason to talk about Ghost. This one looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I'm actually liking this one.
Hard up, y'all. Sorry, Cialis ain't.
So I'm actually looking forward to
this. Yo, Cuban's Ladybugs over here with that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion song on repeat, walking around the house feeling herself.
Yeah. So I was on, especially based on what Modern Warfare was. I think Black Ops. Black Ops Cold War is gonna be pretty good. I looked at that a couple of times, and I'm really feeling it. I think I want to get that already. I thought about pre-ordering it, but I'm not sure.
I need to play the Modern Warfare story mode because I didn't finish it. But this one I'm definitely gonna play all the way through.
Yeah, I streamed that one. That was pretty good.
That's funny. I haven't even touched it. I think that looks.
It was pretty good. They had some realistic missions in the game. That really showed off the shot detection, the hit detection.
Right.
But they had some night ops missions where you got to go into a house and clear the house, and
I've seen it play
that
through.
Was really good. I like I said, I did it on a stream. It was pretty good. I really liked that part.
VF was like stuck in one area for.
I remember VF watching streaming that. I was enjoying it.
But weren't you playing on like the highest difficulty level?
I was on the highest one. And
hardened,
right? With the Juggernaut, yeah.
Yeah, Juggernaut was getting everybody issues.
Yeah, I spent about 45 minutes on that.
I think I stopped playing that story mode like when that plane started coming in that airfield. The two hangars that were like opposite of each other. Once that fucking helicopter or fighter jet or whatever the hell came and started shooting like crazy in that little airfield, that's when I stopped playing because I'm like, damn, this shit's getting kind of hectic now. I was like, I'm gonna go play multiplayer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. So hopefully they, I don't know if the same group is doing the same game again, but I hope it is because they did a pretty good job with what they had.
Yeah, because one of the other things I was hearing about this game is that they're gonna the agenda is making its way into this game. Apparently, they're doing I don't know if it's just strictly for the multiplayer. I don't know if it's gonna find its way into the single player, but the proper pronouns and stuff like that. Agenda looks like I had to find that article, but that I seen that pop up on Twitter as far as an article. And I was just like, are we in danger of possibly Battlefield 5ing this game by doing that? And because I don't think people were worried about proper pronouns during the Cold War. They were just worried about making their money, maybe assassinating a few people, and perpetuating this war that really wasn't fought.
Right.
Meanwhile, black people over here just like stop shooting us.
Right, exactly.
But I don't.
Chris Thomas said he played the 2K21 demo.
How you just gonna leave it at that? What'd you think about it?
I think he's waiting for us to respond. I'm pretty sure that he liked it.
Maybe.
Because it's been getting pretty good reviews all over everywhere. I haven't heard nothing too bad on it.
I'm still waiting for them. I guess they don't have any other things like any more classic teams. Oh, yo, you know what I saw? They have.
Oh, what's that?
Did you notice on the loading screen that they have the U.S. basketball license
Yeah,
again?
I saw that right away. I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, this." So that leads me to believe that maybe, just maybe, they got Barkley and
On
Miller in
the.
the maybe.
I I just
It said
I'm waiting for them to announce like something, like announce some classic teams or something, man.
right. I would like to see the Jordan-led Wizards in the game finally.
I've been waiting for that garbage ass team.
But put out the team that had Rip Hamilton on it, not the Jerry
2000,
Stackhouse team.
2002.
That's a
Yeah, they get
2002 team.
yeah,
Yeah.
2002 team with Rip Hamilton opposite Jordan, because
Just
Jordan
before
made that. They made that trade. And,
Christian Leitner,
oh God,
Chris Whitney's bum ass,
hey, he was okay for a minute, but
Jahidi White,
hey, he was a beast at Georgetown.
Kwame Brown.
He was not a beast.
I was about to say he was
No,
not.
Kwame Brown was terrible. He was
Oh
terrible.
God, that's
It's funny,
Absolutely terrible.
but you know what? At one point, it seemed like with Kwame Brown, he was coming around. That rhymed. And yeah,
on the Lakers a couple times.
No,
too.
no. Yeah, on the Lakers too. But the tail end, well, he wound up getting suspended because he showed up at a team meeting late in the playoffs on the Wizards. He looked like he was about to turn that corner, and then that happened, and it was just like, oh yeah, you have to get rid of him. And there's another cat that eventually didn't pan out, Andre Bloch. Everybody forgets about that guy.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Mm.
He's like a black. He's like a black Joe kick.
Yep.
Right. I don't know. It's like, I think one thing I want to say before we wrap up. This year, the class of 21 games that are out now, like 2K21, NHL, Madden. We're about to have FIFA and what's the other one? Well, MLB is going to be later. So far, how do you think that these games are they're shaping up? You think they're going to be a pretty good class this year or no?
I say gameplay wise, based on Madden, we're off to a good start. Other than the one issue that I have, 2K, we're off to a good start. FIFA, we haven't seen any gameplay, so I can't say. And NHL, we haven't seen any raw gameplay, so I can't say. But
Right.
it is going to be interesting because it's a transitional year, obviously, to the next gen consoles.
Yeah, and it's going to be kind of skewed, and you don't know like which generation is going to be better. Is it going to be this one or next generation? Because I don't know. Because a lot of people, I said this on a couple of streams before, like don't give your hopes up thinking next gen is just going to be automatically like this awesome game. We just don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that the game is going to be bad, but some people are going to have their expectations like really high, and then they're going to be brought down to earth because in some cases we may get a port. Even 2K, coming out on next gen is supposed to be a whole different game. It may not be everything what it's cracked up to be. So just be tempered your expectations.
I know this is the latest we've ever been into the cycle before we knew what next gen was going to look like in any element.
I think it just started letting you get an email on pre-orders on PS5. So
yeah, I already signed up for that.
We haven't seen any type of gameplay from any of these games.
No, I signed up for the PS5 as well. So as soon as they get that up and running, I'm gonna try to pre-order mine. But I don't know. I mean, I was just wanting to know what y'all thought. I think so far it's it started out pretty good. Like I said, I think NHL is gonna be a pretty decent game as well. I don't play the soccer games, but I think as far as basketball, based on football and hockey, I think we're gonna get a pretty good round of games. Maybe
we
next
can
gen to be
PGA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, PGA. Yeah, I almost forgot about PGA.
Include PGA. But then my main concern is going to be people that are more focused on the graphics.
And I think
wanting that 4K and
yeah.
But the problem is that's what steered this current gen astray. Is that they were more focused on graphics.
Some people don't learn.
The games, a lot of the games wound up suffering performance-wise. Like 60 frames per second should have been before we got 4K. I could have seen. I'm like, you can play your pro. I think it was more likely on the Xbox One X that you can get like 4K and a steady performance, not necessarily 60, but a better performing machine. You just didn't have any games. Um, but this next gen should have been, if they would have done it this current gen with performance, and then next gen should have been okay. This is the graphical upgrade because we nailed down performance in this gen, and that's what we should have advertised in this gen. And now it's like, okay, now we can make the game look better, and we can actually start going into ray tracing. We can go into like games having more physics,
I
having more
agree.
assets that stay in the game. They don't just randomly disappear because the game memory itself isn't large enough, and
I'm
just and
I'm oh good.
and really just push the systems in a manner that this current generation wasn't pushed.
Like for me, I'm of the mindset I just want games to, and this is in all games. I want the player movement to be next gen. I want the player movement to be more realistic because player movement is what draws me in. And if the players don't move like their real life counterparts, and in RPG, if the RPG games like Uncharted or whatever you name it, if they don't move like humans, then it doesn't matter. You can have all the graphics you want. You can have all the great.
But sadly, sadly I feel like for most games, I can't speak for all, but most games, that's what they're trying to push. I can't say 100% as far as the PS5 because the PS5 is kind of they're kind of stepping back off that 4K thing. But maybe they'll be doing more with performance. But I know definitely, a lot of people are really wanting to see like legit 4K graphics before any type of performance.
I just want
And
to see. I just want to see gameplay.
because these consoles are being said that they can run 120, but how many games we actually going to get that's going to run 120?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're talking about.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry. It just seems like technically they would have to have very powerful systems to be able to run it at 120. If they can do it, then I wouldn't expect 4K to be along with it.
Well, so
Right.
all these graphics, we still don't have real time physics in any of the games that have been announced yet, and like it's gonna be interesting once again to see what these games are offering in next gen that are gameplay elements that make the game different. Not just a port, not just oh well, we made this slightly better, but I want to hear more of the 2K build it from the ground up, so the movement's going to be completely different on the next gen. We've already heard that. We haven't really heard much else, but we've heard that the movement is going to be completely different on next gen. That's a start. Madden hasn't said anything about it's going to be completely different on next gen. They haven't done
Port.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a port. I would not, because I mean they
give you a free upgrade to it. It's not like it's a different SKU price wise.
No, I'm saying they're like
a different price point.
When is EA known to change their entire scheme when it comes to like games? Like they pretty much, like we said before, this game is built off the Xbox 360 engine. It's pretty much running off the same type of code. So I mean, you think they're going to change? I would not be surprised if they did.
Any indication? If that Mahomes trailer is any indication.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's still running off of that. I just wouldn't. Pete, let's see. Pete said, "I don't understand why the new shooting meter is such a problem in 2K. I don't see it as a problem
because it took away some controls that people like for dribbling, and I think there's another section of the people who really just don't know how to use it. And then
I mean, I
figured.
I figured it out. I didn't think it was too
Wait
big of
a
deal.
second. No, because if you use the old shot meter or shot timing, you couldn't hold the right or left. It would go into a shot or a shot attempt. With this one, it just reduces it keeps the shooting to just pressing it down, but you can still do all the dribble moves. You can actually hold up and you do your I guess your size ups based on that, and you actually have more freedom to do dribble moves on that one. But once you press down, that's when it starts
But that's what I'm
enacting the
saying.
shot.
There was a move that was connected to that
Yeah,
control,
that was the
and they took it away.
that was the
But-
behind the
but they
back.
So
did-
now
but
they
the
didn't.
thing is-
I know they didn't take it
Yeah.
away fully, but I'm saying, I mean, you change that, people aren't gonna like it. Period. End story.
Yeah, I mean, they, you know, you just got some people just don't know how to. I ain't gonna say adapt, but just change their ways.
But the thing is, it's like when the full game comes out, they don't have to.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
I think when you're looking at and I'm just obviously I'm looking at it from the perspective that the pattern in the past has always been 2K has presented options control wise, and then for the fact that even in the blog they mentioned you can go back to the NBA 2K20 controls, and then you have this demo that people were bitching over because they couldn't use the 2K20 shot timing when clearly this demo was about this new shot meter and trying it out, and that's all it was. And so to like folks that were making a big fuss about it, it's just like,
But if
Look,
you want people to make an impression of your game, you can't force them to play the game the way you want them to play it.
but it's a demo, and
they're free to criticize it.
I'm not saying they don't have the right to criticize it, but they have to understand what the purpose of that demo was, and they kind of forget that the main thing that they wanted to see was how that shot aiming was. So
Yeah, but I mean, you can't expect everybody who wants to play NBA 2K21 to go in and just think, "Oh yeah, well, you know, I'm here to use the shot meter." I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's not bitching if you say I don't want to use this fucking shot meter.
but the
Like,
thing
I don't-
but the thing is,
cut it off.
no. I'm talking about in reference to the demo. The
what I'm
bitching
talking
is
about.
over the demo, and it's just like you don't. I'm like the full game is not gonna force you to use shot aiming. So for
But the
1
demo
week,
did.
no, but for
Yeah, it's a
1 week,
demo.
for 1 week, you just have to deal with the demo. That's it. Just 1 week. I'm like, people just tapping out like, oh, this is how you delete the demo based on just
I don't blame them.
not being able to, just go. You got
I mean,
I don't
like
blame
said,
you. I don't blame
it-
you. You can't be about
my
options
thing is,
on one hand and then take them away on the other hand and think
but
keep that same
What
energy.
but the
my thing
options
is,
aren't
if
taken away though.
If it's the full game, I understand. If it's a demo, you know, like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You already don't have options in the demo on top of that, and
I mean, if it's
people
the full
adapt
game,
to
I totally
it.
understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get it. If it's the full game.
Even Madden
But-
gave us a beta where you can customize everything that you basically wanted to.
Yeah,
Go
that's
in and
what
look
I'm
at
saying.
replay and all.
But you
and
couldn't
go in and
you could-
replay and
but wait a minute,
go
but hold
look at all
on.
kinds of shit.
But I
Go
couldn't
ahead.
play franchise mode in that beta.
But you just said it's a demo. So
But
and I'm giving you an example of another
and
situation
I'm
that was a
giving you an
demo.
example where I
right?
could have bitched about something that
could
wasn't
have.
in the, but I
you could have
didn't.
you could have criticized it, not bitched
Because
about it.
I understood
Bitching is completely
the mo-
different.
But it's because I understood what the beta was about. Is trying out the game and plus Madden doesn't customize controls like
You
that.
can't
So
prostitute. You
you're-
can't prostitute the option when you want to prostitute it, and then on the other hand
But
take
the
away the
full
options.
game is going to present you with an option.
It's not about
It's
full game.
always presented
If-
you with
if-
options. Even right now,
Listen.
even through 2K20, you can just
Listen.
assume that you can switch it to where the right analog is just the dribble
Like I
controls
said,
alone.
I got used to the meter.
I
I got used to the meter in 5 seconds. It doesn't mean everybody should have to.
No,
And it's
I
funny
get it,
because
I get
that's
it.
what the blog even said was probably going to happen once you start playing it. It would become intuitive.
Like I said, I get
You were
it.
just
Everybody,
complaining
if
for
it
no
ain't-
goddamn reason.
If it
I
ain't,
mean,
if it
or-
ain't the shot meter, someone's gonna be mad about something they can't do on the part. I mean, the people gonna
want to be
people gonna-
mad in general, and
Yeah, people
that's
gonna be
the part
mad.
I
They're
don't
like,
like.
I get it, but my thing is when people just can't or they don't try to get good at something. Me personally, you can't play with me.
Yeah,
if
but
you're not trying, if you're not trying,
but wait a minute, hold up. But
if you're
with
not
Bill,
trying to get better at something, I just have no patience for you to play with
But-
me in any game.
but with
At
Bill,
least try.
but with Bills, I can understand where he's coming from.
Right, I
When
do
you
too.
when you look at the mechanic, and it's like, well, I don't like the mechanic. I don't like the meta of the mechanic because it's not realistic.
And I get it, but my thing
Mhm.
is when you have people just saying like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I'm shooting air balls and I don't know what to do," and you're not even getting better at it. Like, all right, bro, you're used to one thing, that's fine, but real gamers adapt and they actually become efficient in anything they do on the sticks. That's how I feel.
But
It's
with
like
this,
at least at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I've
mhm.
gotten better at it. I understand it. I just don't like it. But people to say that they don't like something because they're poor at it, get off the damn sticks. I can't stand
but
gamers that's like that. If you're
but it
sorry, you're sorry.
but in
That's
this
how I feel.
but in this case, I'm like the fact that it's just a demo and you really just
Well, I
have
mean
to
that.
deal
I
with
mean that.
no, no,
That.
hold on,
I mean,
no,
I
no.
get that too.
But the fact that it's just for a week or 2 weeks to just play the demo, I'm like, there's other legit gripes. Like you can only play 5 play now games. That's bullshit.
Right.
I'm
And
like,
Yeah,
I
I
get it.
would be on
but
that train as far as limitations than
okay.
just the
Now
controls.
think about it from a person who's not a simhead like us that's just gonna adapt or
It's
perish.
not even a
Hey
sim
man,
head.
Oh
man,
It's
yeah,
not.
you're not.
everybody can
No, no, no,
adapt.
no, no. My thing.
Can I finish?
As
We
soon as
will,
I'm done,
yeah.
as soon as I'm done, because I'm
No, no,
passionate
no, no,
about
no,
this.
no, no,
No,
no, VF,
hold on,
VF.
no,
Let
straight up,
Phil
no, straight
finish.
up.
No,
No, I'm
no.
not. Because it's not about being a sim head. If you pick up these sticks and the game wants you to do something, you can't use your thumbs or fingers to do something. You're not good at these games.
So
At
you're not.
least,
So
Yeah,
you're missing the point that I was making because
let
you
Phil
just went and
finish.
said that.
no, exactly.
So once again, we're not addressing the people that are good at video games because I don't care about them people. I'm talking about the people who maybe aren't good at video games. That
I
want
got, I
to
got, I got no love for them.
that's fine. I don't have love for them either. I'm not talking about love for them. What I'm talking about is you're talking about a group of people who want to pick up the game and play it and see how it moves. They have 5 games to adjust to a shot meter that they don't want to adjust to, and quite frankly, aren't good enough to adjust to. It doesn't mean that they automatically should put the game down because in the demo they have to adjust to the shot meter. Maybe they want to play according to how they played last year with the shot meter, and maybe they want to see how the game moves before they buy it. You can't just say, oh, because you suck at the game. Plenty of people suck at video games. We're not playing against them online, so that shit's irrelevant to us. That's the point I'm making to you, bro.
You suck at games. I have no advocation for you.
But I'm not advocating for anybody. I'm using common sense. And common sense is if a person plays video games and don't play it as hardcore as us, which is why I said sim heads always talk about adjusting. Everybody in the world is not a sim head, bro. We've discussed this before. So if you're playing a demo, if you're playing a demo and you wanted to play the demo to see how the game moves compared to last year, and you're a person who just pops in 2K and doesn't play it with all the little intricacies and all that stuff, and you just want to play the game and say, okay, how does it move? Okay, I want to see how the Bucks play or how the Clippers play. You couldn't do that because A, you only had 5 games, and B, you were trying to get used to something that basically you do every possession, which is shooting, and you had to get used to that. I'm not saying that the meter was hard for me because, like I said, I was drilling jump shots easily, and that's how I've used the mechanic to begin with. But I'm talking about the people, once again, who aren't good at video games. I'm not going to bash because they're not a gamer like me. Not everybody's like us. Not everybody has time to play video games like us and get good at these games. From I mean, that's the point I'm making, bro. You can cast them aside if you want to. It doesn't mean that they don't have a say because they're a consumer just like us, bro.
Everybody who comes to listen to us are built for like us. And that's what I speak for. I'm not speaking for the guy.
I wouldn't say that either. We also have to acknowledge the people.
I feel that everybody who comes to this podcast know what we about and they built like us.
It's not about
that's not. They can go somewhere else.
No.
But wait, though,
that's where you have to look. We welcome all types of.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Y'all can cater to the ones who ain't that good and handicap for them.
But who's catering to them? We're making a point that not everybody buys the game for the same reasons as us, bro.
Nova just made my point right there. I don't play with deaf people in the online game.
No, once again, is named after a group in a Halo Reach game that was decimated one by one. So
Nova just made my point.
I mean, bro, that's almost like
there's no discriminating. I just have
that's like slight. I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. That's just like sliding cute Miss Ladybug. I'm like she's a casual video.
But she adapts and get good at games. I watch her play.
But she's not a hardcore gamer like us.
Let me give you an example. But VF, let me give an example. That's like saying, okay, Drake's dropping a song, and whenever you log into your Spotify account, you get to listen to it one time. And for the hardcore people, they can catch every single instrument that's in there. But the other motherfuckers that just listen to music don't catch it. Oh well, shit. So what? I guess you either buy the song or you don't. That's bullshit, bro. Because not everybody's like me.
That's not my problem.
It's not about it being your problem. It's reality, dude. That's the whole point of it.
What am I here
it's
for?
not about.
I'm giving you my opinion. What am I here for?
I'm not bashing you. I'm not bashing you for how you feel specifically about how you play the game. What I'm telling you is, based on how they set the demo up, there was a section of people who are not like us, which means they don't want to play the game like us, and they can't adapt like us. And there are.
I don't advocate for them on this podcast.
We're not. It's not about advocation. It's about acknowledgement that that is the case.
I'm not. If you're willing to get good, if you're willing to play these games on a level where you're willing to get better, I'm here for that. If you just saying, "Oh man, I can't. I don't know what to do. I suck, and I don't know what to do."
Everybody's not a real gamer, bro, and you got to acknowledge that. Just because you play video games doesn't mean you're a gamer.
Once again, everybody knows. I have all these consoles in here. I have dozens of games behind me.
I don't.
If you're not good at
what does that mean?
You're not a real gamer then. You're not a real gamer.
Damn, I got an empty wall back here. I just have that exercise equipment in the corner, but that's it.
But DJ, you good at games though. You literally bought a PC and got good with mouse and keyboard. You got good at other things that you play with. I've seen you overcome and adapt games. So I would never go against your gamer skill. But I'm talking about ones who are just not good at them, don't know how to get good at them, and they're just not skilled enough.
No, but VF, but you may not have any worse for them. But the thing is, just to acknowledge that they're out there, they're listening to us. They also are interested in our thoughts on games like this.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is why I love this podcast, because if they're willing to listen to us, they're not going to be that scrub. After listening to us, they're going to get better against it. They're going to want to.
This is all I'm going to say. If you're garbage at games, you don't have to explain that to anybody.
You know, your game is going to show for it. If you're garbage, your game is going to show for it.
If you're garbage at games, I don't ask you to explain anything. All I ask is for you not to say that a game needs to be nerfed in any way as a result of the fact that you cannot play it that way. Now, if you have those options at your disposal, I am 100% on the side of DJ that says you can customize those controls. What I was addressing was when you tailor an experience to one section of your fan base and the other section of the fan base is being attacked basically because one section of the fan base that was pandered to. It's almost like saying that they put out a demo. It's like, okay, here's the thing. You can't complain about franchise gamers being left out in the cold and then say that sucky gamers aren't left out in the cold in this situation. That's okay. Like, bro, you can't do that.
No, I'm not saying that they're left out in the cold and that's okay. I'm just saying don't come to me for help.
Nobody's coming to you for help.
Yeah, nobody's asking you for help.
Don't come to me to advocate for you. They got other people to do.
No one's even come to you
to advocate for anything. It's not about advocation.
It's about acknowledgement.
Sorry, Chris Thomas say sorry, but I tried a new shop again, and it took me a while to adjust. But I have to tell you, it takes some skill. Exactly. And look, if you're about that life on these sticks, you're going to figure. You may not like it. You may not know what you may not get it right away, but you're going to feel. You're going to get the feel for the skill, and you're going to get it. You may not still like it after the fact, but I just can't stand people who just play.
Hold on. You know what? I started off at the beginning of this portion on the opposite side of Bills. Now I'm on the same side. You have thoroughly convinced me to be exactly where Bills is on his thoughts on this demo.
That's what I tried to explain to people like Smitty who cannot think outside of the scope of their own opinions, and obviously VF can, but you know, Smitty's an example of somebody who can't because he basically related what I was saying about the mechanic to my personal experience with it, which wasn't true. So in your situation, I get what you're saying. You're only worried about your own particular gaming situation. What I'm talking about,
in my gaming circle, people who know what I'm talking about, people that know what I'm talking about as far as games, they're cut from that cloth. I'm not out here trying to give a helping hand who's willing to not even get better.
But when I'm assessing the situation of something that was released in a demo, I have to look at all people who would be playing that demo. I can't just look at it and say, well, based on gamers like us, because gamers like us aren't the only people playing. There are people that may be able to play 2K once a week. They may suck at the game, but they enjoy popping it in and playing with the NBA teams. There's nothing wrong with that. So the point I'm making to you is now it'd be different if you could play as many games as possible if you had millions of quick games at your disposal. You did it. So you had no time to adjust if you were a game. Not every gamer is created equal, bro. There are people who play games literally just to have fun, and they don't care whether they win or lose, whether they're good or bad, etc., etc. It's just
how long they got to learn the shot stick?
They have as long as they have available to them.
But we're not talking about
limitations to how many games they can play, which was the point that I made.
And on top of that, you're talking about in real life how much time they have to even get on the game in the first place. And, you know, the majority of people who buy this game are limited in their time.
But people who come to this people who watch this podcast, 80 to 90% of them are hardcore.
But VF, we're not addressing just them, bro. We can't
most of the time I am. If you're in the other 10 to 20% who come here that are not, they're willing to get to that point. That's what I'm saying.
How do we know
that's what I think, and I hope that's the angle that I'm trying to push with this podcast. If you're here and you just suck at the game and you try your best, and you still suck at the game, I have no word. I can't do nothing with you.
Well, we're not here to improve or not.
People to have a better gaming experience. But if you still suck,
that's experience, not skill.
But here's the other thing you got to think about, VF, is another way to improve your gaming experience is to make your gaming experience to how you want to play.
That's why we talk about sliders and all that.
And I'm 100% behind that. And I'm 100%. That's why I'm 100% with you when they say they should have gave you more options when it comes to shooting the basketball in the demo.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm 100% with you. But if you're still complaining about this shot stick, if you done tried it for 2 hours, I have nothing for you. You suck. Point blank. That's all I'm saying.
I'm in my listen to Erlager. I'm in my mid 40s. I don't do that. I'm in my 40s, and my stick skills aren't the same as when I was in my teens and 20s. Now look. I'll give you a prime example.
What am I supposed to do?
No, hold on, no. Hold on, VF.
For help.
VF, I'll give you a prime example, VF, right? Okay, Mark Rader, right?
Oh, I knew his name was going to pop up.
Mark Rader is garbage at Madden. We've all seen it, right? Why do we have a problem with Mark Rader, though?
Because he sucked.
No, that's not why we have a problem with Mark Rader. We have a problem with Mark Rader because he criticizes the game based on his limitations. Correct?
I call him Mark later because he sucks.
You call him Mark later, but we rashed him because he would take his limitations of how well or bad he played and he put it on, well, the game is bad.
Once again, that's another reason.
I'm getting to my point. There's a difference between doing that and saying, I just want the option that I had before. I'm getting the first impression of your game. That. I shouldn't have to buy your game.
Right.
And
I just said that. I just said that.
But you disagreed 20 minutes ago when we started this.
No. I said I'm all for options. I never said it should be one way or no way. I'm saying you should have the stick skills to adjust. That's all I'm saying. I never said that it should be one way or no way.
But it shouldn't be that extreme in a demo. Now I've changed my stance a bit. It shouldn't.
But VF, that's what I'm saying. When I brought it up in the demo initially, you did say no, it's a demo. They shouldn't have those options.
No, I did not say that. I say it's a demo.
We'll have to go back and look at the tape.
I never said that it should be just one option. I never said that. I said it's a demo. The options are going to be there when the full game's there. If the full game has this one option, absolutely, I have a problem with that. I did say that.
But that's why. But what I'm saying is, I was saying in the demo, they should have the option they had last year.
I agree.
You didn't agree then.
I know. I agree that they should have all the options, but it's just a demo. All your options are going to be in the full game.
And I agree.
Right.
But my point
now,
was
if they have that one option in the full game, I have a problem with that.
No, I feel you. But I'm saying it's a situation where there's money on the line here. And if you're getting the first impression of the game and you have 5 games, 6 minutes a piece in each quarter to get used to the shot meter, yeah, of course you can go to the gym. And like I joked with Izzy on Tuesday, he's just lucky that they didn't say, all right, 10 minutes and get your ass out of here of the gym. But what I'm saying is, and we all have experienced this because we played the demo, shooting in the demo on the practice court is different than in the game.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying I know you don't want to, but we have to look at the people who aren't necessarily like us. They're never gonna be good at games, bro.
I can promise you this.
But they're still gonna play the game.
Anybody who comes to our podcast, they may not are like us, but they're willing to get like us. They're not gonna sit here and listen to us 2 hours.
But some people aren't gonna be.
Yeah, because people are just casual by nature. They're not.
If you're listening to our type of podcast, you're willing to try, and that's all I'm saying. What I don't like is the people who are don't want to try. They can't suck. They can't get good, and they continue to complain.
There are people.
We're not. Wait, hold on. We are not gatekeepers.
No, we're not
players'
gatekeepers.
skills.
No,
so if they are listening, they're listening because we have 3 separate personalities that they like to listen to.
We're not gatekeepers, and I'm not saying you have to have a skill set to listen to us. This is just my game and acumen. I can't deal with you if you just can't get better at a game.
That's gatekeeping.
That's
gatekeeping based on your personal experience.
Right, put it like this, Bills. If you're playing a 5-on-5 in the Jordan Rec Center, and somebody constantly is sorry in the game, would you continue to play with them?
No, but that's because but here's the thing. The difference.
If you're playing Battlefield 1 and somebody's constantly getting you killed, would you continue to play with them?
I have no control over that in Battlefield because there's no, I can't.
Avoid him. You can avoid
How?
Him. Don't play. He comes in your party.
I know it. The game is bigger. Wait.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Why would I? Okay.
Come on now.
Yeah, that's crazy. No. Yeah, that's crazy. Why would I leave a server for one person when there's like 100 people in that server?
I know y'all not about to do that.
No, because you're talking about one person in like 100 people. I'm not leaving a server for that.
Every time I see that motherfucker, he's gone.
VF, this is my
we're not doing it.
But this is my thing. This is my thing though. Look at what P. Frenna said. P. Frenna said, I listen because I like the conversation. I don't agree with you guys on everything, but this is a good podcast. There are people that listen to us. You realize there are people that listen to us that are sports fans and they're not really even gamers at all, but they buy the games every year because they're fans of the sport and they play video games when they were younger, they might be 30. So you're alienating them right now.
Yeah, when it comes, if you want, I'm gonna tell you, this is one thing I don't like to play online because if I'm playing online, we could be cool in the chat, we could be cool on the podcast, but if you sorry as shit in these games, you're not playing with me.
But that's when you're
just saying that.
But that's when you're playing online.
That's all I'm saying.
But that's when you're playing. But that's when you're playing.
If you're not willing to try and get better at the games, why would I play with you online? You can help us lose everything.
There are plenty of people that try to get better when they have time to, but not everybody dedicates time to games like us, bro.
And if they don't, why would I play with them?
I'm not talking about playing with them, VF. I'm not talking about playing with them.
But this goes back to what I'm saying. With anything as far as skill base and anything, if you're not willing to get better at it, I have nothing for you. Why would I? I mean, the same thing with the whole thing about the rec center. Why would we play on a park that's somebody that constantly can't pass the ball or constantly turning over the ball? Why would you do that? Why would you play with somebody in insurgency where friendly fire is real? He can't tell the difference between the insurgents or the security team, and they keep shooting at you. Why would you continue to play with that sorry ass person?
The reason why DJ brought up the word gatekeeper is because even if we're not playing with them online, to basically alienate them by saying that we have no time for them,
like I said,
they're not getting better at games.
You cool in the chat. You cool at supporting the podcast. I have no problem with that. We all as a collective, that's cool. But if you try to play with these games with me, and you sorry, I'm sorry. No, you can't play with me.
All right, so minute, hold
Not
up.
doing it.
So the theme of the story, if you're playing with VF, you better be good or he's gonna kick your ass out.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely.
That's
never-
basically
Absolutely.
what he's
I
saying.
never
Absolutely.
disagreed with.
Right. No one's disagreeing
Yeah,
with that part.
And that's the premise of everything that I've been saying as far as is learning to adapt
But
to
you
these
applied
games.
it to this podcast.
But I was talking about
listen to
offline.
us.
And I will say
And I was
this.
saying offline.
And once again, I will tell you this. I will backtrack and say I don't want to alienate people from the podcast for being sorry. But I feel like if you're going to get your skills and get your weight up, get your skills and weight up, because if you're going to play with me, we're not having this discussion if you're sorry.
But I was talking about people who play offline. I'm not talking about playing with you, bro.
And Chris Thomas is like VF is a video game elitist.
I'm just saying.
Wait, now he is.
I'm just saying. I mean,
gaming.
I'm just saying. Look. I mean, and I'm not trying to. This goes back to the '80s. We played Mario. If my cousin was Luigi and he kept dying, put the fucking controller down and go play in some arts and crafts. We don't play.
But hold up.
Everybody's not crazy competitive like us. That's another thing you gotta realize, bro.
Him being Luigi wouldn't stop you from beating the game.
I'm tired of look.
VF sounds like MJ. VF sounds like
but
MJ
listen,
from Last
But
Dance.
listen though,
Like,
but
if
listen
you
though, when
wanna
it
play
comes to Mario, I put it like this: when it comes to Mario, there's sometimes I want to fall back and watch somebody play for a second. I don't want to see nobody die every 30 seconds. I gotta play again. Like, you need to do something too, bro. Like, especially Mario 3, when you have to beat you can't.
You can't win with him.
But the thing is, though,
like Singletary VF over here.
the same way we acknowledge the casuals in Madden, we gotta acknowledge the casuals in 2K.
That's fine.
And
if you're and I'm gonna say this, and I will say this as well. If you're in the chat and you constantly say, I don't know how to throw a bullet pass, I don't know how to throw a touch pass, I don't know how to throw
I don't know how to lead. I don't know how to lead receivers into space.
Listen. And I'm gonna put it like this. You got three podcasts to come back and keep telling me that you can't do that. I'm gonna have a problem with you.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute.
You got 3 episodes.
Hold on. I had to ask this question: is this VF or BG that is now running this podcast?
No, because I'm not claiming. I'm not claiming. No, wait a minute.
Right now.
Because I'm not claiming to be a gaming god or nothing. I'm just saying, if you're listening to us,
but you're claiming in order to play with me, you got to be good. If you ain't good, you're gone. I
agree. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? When you play online, you trying to play to win, or you trying to hold somebody's hand?
I don't need to hold somebody's hand. I'm not worried about holding somebody's hand.
And I tell you what,
I'm not trying to cut them from having fun, though.
And I'm pretty sure if you playing one of these games, you're not trying to tolerate it either. You're not trying to. You're not.
When I'm playing. Okay, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
My first and foremost thing when it comes to playing these games is actually an NWO principle. Having fun, number one.
Man, you can't have fun with somebody. Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about. Somebody suck. Ain't nobody having fun.
But hold on. Hold on. Now we can't go and do this because we said nobody should have to explain how they have fun with their games, right?
They don't. But I mean, if I'm watching,
so we would
that's true. That's true, bro. You're right,
fun.
Bills. But if somebody's online, if somebody's on streaming, or somebody playing legitimately suck at a game, I'm like, bro,
Kids
you're not even trying to get
making
better.
a killing sucking at the game. So
and VF also we're talking about
and they keep them on a team all the time.
But when you're not playing in a competitive forum and you're playing against the computer, you're entitled to suck. If you want to be garbage at the game, you can be. That's the point I'm making to you.
And when they do that, don't come to me for no support. Don't come to me asking me no questions.
Support.
And I'm telling y'all, now like I said earlier,
it's like you freeloaders need to get the hell out of here.
I'm gonna say this as far as the podcast going. I said that I love everybody who come and listen, but like I said, after the third episode that you listen to us and you constantly say, "Hey, I can't do such and such in this game," don't ask me for help because you just sorry. I ain't got time for it.
Smitty, you ain't welcome here no more.
There you go. Listen, I don't have tolerance for people who's not willing to get on the stick skills and actually be borderline competent with the controls. I just can't. I just can't. That's one thing I cannot get down with.
Don't say when Pete Friend, it was like when Mexico sends us their favorites. They're sending it.
I gotta put that up. I gotta put that up there. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Can't play with him. Can't coach with him. Can't do it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Chris Thomas also asked, well, damn, you act like, listen, and this is all seriousness though. This is all serious. I've been competitive with these games since the 80s. I've been even with Double Dragon, Contra, Battletoads, any of those games, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear on the NES, any of these games, it wasn't just me being competitive against somebody else. What did I say before the last episode? I don't let a game beat me. That's why I was adamant about learning. I was adamant about learning the shot stick. I don't let games beat me. I'm gonna do what I can to beat these games, and I expect people to at least be competent enough to say, maybe I can't beat it, but I know what I'm doing. If you don't know what you're doing, why are you here? That's all I'm asking.
There are a lot of garbage gamers out
here. Exactly. Why are you here? If you're garbage,
because they want to play games.
No,
maybe
they're
having
right.
No. Listen, you want to play games? That's fine. Don't ask us for any help if you suck. I'm sorry. No, don't. Don't. I'm dead serious. Because you gotta at least be
asking me what's going on, because you see me stuck at a game at one point in time.
We all did. The vetting process. I agree. We all did.
The vetting process to get in the Discord is gonna be like, how many episodes of First and Framerates have you listened to? What's your Twitter account and what's your KD on Call of Duty?
No, don't do that, Miss Ladybug. Miss Ladybug said, I feel bad for Vinny if he have ball when the baby.
You already know me.
I'll teach him how to play. No.
Like, you ain't a doctor yet?
No, this is the thing.
VM gonna be like, you didn't see that fullback coming out of backfield?
This is the thing. Now, I am willing to teach somebody. Now, I don't have a problem with teaching somebody how to play, but if you just constantly
you just went on a rant talk about if you suck at the game, don't come to me.
Exactly.
Wow.
What did I say earlier? I said you got 3 chances to come to this podcast and say you know.
Now we're gatekeeping on the amount of chance. Damn.
If you're playing with me, yes. If you're gonna play a game with me, yes. Well, I'm not about to play with sorry.
At least you
what if they aren't?
What if they aren't? What?
What if they aren't gonna play a game with you? What if they're just coming and saying, "Hey,
that's fine. Like that's what I said. I have no problem with people coming to listen. I have no problem with people coming to watch the podcast. I have no problem with that. But if you constantly sit here saying that you're trying to get good and you can't, I have nothing for you.
Ladybug, the quote from you is gonna be like, "Give me that controller, son. Don't be mashing all the buttons at the same time."
Oh my Lord Jesus!
My head.
What Chris Thomas say?
Oh, man.
Chris Thomas said, play Dark Souls and Sekiro and stream it. I actually thought about playing Sekiro twice. I actually thought about playing Shadows Die twice. I just haven't bought it. Like, that's like one of the games, like I said earlier on PS4, I need to start buying like some of the exclusives. That's another I need to buy because I do want to play it. And I may well stream it. But yeah, it's like, but
I'm such a competitive gamer, like all these dudes talking shit, like I might just fucking stream and every time use that dumbass shot meter just to piss people off when I start drilling jump shots. And just be like, yeah, y'all can shut the fuck up now.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's the type of shit I like to do.
But the difference is it wouldn't be fun. It would just be to do it out of spite because I'm a petty person and I know I am.
Right.
But that's not fun.
People need to know your stick skills on point.
But wait a minute, what happened? But hold up, VF. What happened to adapt and overcome?
That's what Bill's gonna do when he get on stream.
I don't have to adapt because I'm already good at it. That's the point. I just literally don't like to.
What I'm saying is, like, if you have a player that is not good and he's on your team, even though he could be affecting, there's ways to overcome.
You better listen. If he's on, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Don't ask them to do something you can't do yourself.
I will say this: playing Battlefield or whatever, if you can't shoot, you better be a damn good mechanic. You better know how to fix tanks or vehicles or whatever. I mean, there's a spot for everybody.
How would you know if they're garbage if you're playing Conquest? That motherfucker's on the other side of the map.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, if he's in my, if he's in my squad, he better be able to do something. I mean, if he's just on the team and not in my squad, that's one thing. But if you're in my squad, what can you do?
Well, I look at it like this.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
if I'm the medic, I'm staying by that player because he's gonna be dying a lot. That's gonna give me a lot of points. Just saying. Take advantage.
But see, that's the thing.
Be one of them motherfuckers to revive him in front of an enemy so they can.
Right, and not only that, if he's down a lot and you're right by him, guess who else is getting shot? You know what I mean? Like,
the thing is, I'm not going to be an idiot and rush in there and get shot before I revive somebody.
Okay,
a lot of times,
so
this is me checking. It's not 100% guaranteeing that I won't get shot, but I'm checking first before I go in.
I got a question. So what if you're playing with somebody who's constantly doing that? Are you still gonna play with them?
Yo, VF's out here sounding.
I'm not gonna always be there to revive them or whatever. I'm gonna just be like,
yo, VF's out here sounding like Michael Jordan. Yo, he's sounding like MJ. Well, you expect me to trust Brad Sellers with the ball? Nah, give me the.
My thing is, if you're good at something in a video game, be good at it. But if you're trying to be something that you're not, and you constantly trying, and you're being more of a liability, don't play with me. I don't want to.
No, but you better not play with VF. You gonna pick them weak ass Bears. Wow. You saw, I forget how we started the convo. We started.
Pete, you started it with the shot stick.
Yeah, Pete, we were talking about the shot stick.
Yeah, we were talking about.
He the one that started it. He talking about I don't know. Yeah. He the one that started it.
Yeah, because it was all about and it was funny because I started out on one end, but as this conversation,
all seriousness, and DJ, you know this. But DJ, you know this. When we played Battlefield or we played any other game, who did I want to play with? I wanted to play with you whenever the small times I do play online. I want to play with somebody like you because you know what you're doing. I'm not sitting here. Not sitting here.
Damn.
You want to be on my
same thing. Same thing with Battlefield Hardline. Bills, what do we do? I want to play. I don't want to play with Mark later. I don't want to play with nobody who don't know what they're doing. I want to play with somebody who I know what they're doing. And what do we do? What do we do when we play?
The reason why
we win.
Thank you. We're not winning with a Mark later. I don't want to play with him.
Here's the thing. Specifically, VF wants me on his team because I literally saved his life in a game.
Exactly.
I literally saved his life. And also, shout out to Sim F Ball, also saved his life in a Battlefield game.
And everybody who's listening right now, everybody right now who listens, you hear DJ? He's good at saving people's lives, and he's also good with the Scar H in Battlefield 4. Now, I don't want to play with somebody else who think they're good with an MP5 and always getting shot. I don't want to play with them.
Here's my thing.
In that instance, I wound up stabbing the dude that was shooting at VF with all those pot shots because I snuck up on him and just stabbed.
Here's my only requirement if I'm playing a shooter with you. Have some common sense. So if you see a guy that's gonna ambush me and I don't see him, he's behind me, and you're pulling up, shoot him, please. Don't wait for me to get shot.
Wait. And here's an example. In Bills, we did this in Warzone. You would get on your boy Jomar about shooting at people beyond range. Like if you don't feel confident in your shot, don't take it just to take it.
That's what I don't like. That's where I'll criticize a trash gamer. If you're trash and you know you're trash,
right, there you go.
Still try something outside of your skill level.
If you're speaking my language,
if you're doing what you do, I have no issue with you.
I'm with you right there too.
If we're playing in rec league and you're not really good on the sticks as far as breaking people down off the dribble, you want to spot up, fine.
I got you.
As soon as we get in the fourth quarter and I pass to you and you want to start handling the ball like you're Kyrie and shit, I'm gonna call you out. But
there you go. You're saying the same thing I'm saying.
But here's the thing: if you're just trash, but you're trying your hardest, I'm not gonna bash you for it.
No, listen. If you're trying, I'm gonna be honest.
He was with me, and then it's like,
I'm gonna be real now. I'm gonna do it again. If you trash and you trying your hardest, I'm like, look, bro. Go ahead and go to the side and practice for a little while.
I don't take video games later.
It's like what?
I do, but I don't.
Get out of here.
It's like, listen, look, you can play with us later, but
if you're like 3-17, there's an issue. Okay,
go
if
over there and play.
3-9, maybe it was a bad game. Like it depends. Like
I mean, you gotta think about it. 3-9 is very close to 50%.
But you know what? In that situation, I say VF's life. VF, if you were so good, you would have killed him yourself.
But you said you snuck up on him.
I could have just left you to die
Listen. I'm not, and I want y'all to also understand. I never said this, and I want to put. I'm not saying I'm the greatest. I'm not saying I'm good. I'm efficient. I'm efficient.
Humble yourself,
Listen.
sir. Humble
I'm
yourself.
efficient. I'm efficient enough to make sure, like, look, if we go and play these games and
Shot.
we all working together, we're going to win. I'm
And
not going to
could
be the
not
liability.
find the guy.
I'm not going to be the liability that lose games, and I expect everybody who plays with me is not to be a liability to lose the game. But if you're out here, like Bill's just said, if you're trying to break people down and you have no dribbling skills, if you're good at spotting up and you choose not to, go play with somebody else.
And
That's
don't ask
all
to
I'm
be
saying.
quarterback if you can't throw people.
Don't be a quarterback if you can't. If you good at blocking at left tackle, I don't need you to be a running back. That's
maybe you
all
could be the equipment manager.
One more thing, Bill. Like I said with the shot stick, if you can't get good at the shot stick, but you know how to double tap that button to throw a flashy pass, I may let you bring the ball up. We'll get open. Throw that flashy pass. We look
Fuck
good on the team.
No. That's where I draw the line. If you can't do, because that's basketball fundamentals. If you can't do something simple like take a jump shot, but your ass can throw a between the legs pass, you didn't sit your ass down a bench somewhere. If you have priorities all out of whack, that's what I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. Like when it comes to these games, at least make an attempt to get better.
Taking his talents to
hey.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not the best in the world, but when I get online or if I'm playing a game, I'm going to be at least efficient enough to win games.
The best of the world doesn't climb up a ladder that's like 100 feet tall while being shot at and putting himself in position to be killed.
Right. I'm not. That's one thing I will say. I'm not the best, but if we playing together, trust me, I'm not going to be the liability to lose, and I expect everybody else who playing with me not to be the liability.
You know the one thing I've noticed.
What's that?
Is the better gamers I've come across kind of don't take the game, I guess, as serious as us to a certain extent.
I can agree.
Like me, I don't like if you're doing something that's just like pissing me off, like you're doing the shit like deliberately. That's one thing, but if you're just bad, I can't really like. I wasn't like even as a leader, like football, basketball. I never was raised, I guess, like that. Like I'm not really the. But I can get where you're coming from. I don't know. I kind of.
I mean, my thing is just that's just to me is gaming 101. I mean, if you're gonna play these games, you gotta be competent at what you're doing. You can't just be trash and just keep trying and still be trash.
You can. That just means you trash your games and you hit your ceiling already.
Yeah. Don't come around me trying to play games. Then.
Not everybody can be. Some people gonna be Andre Roberson at video games, bro.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. I mean, it's not to bash anybody, but if you're not trying, it's like, or if you're trying and you still can't get it, like, what are we doing here?
You just want to come home and unwind and spend money on my team and make videos about it.
Well, speaking of that person,
what's so bad about that, man?
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
I will say this. I need to get back into some more skill-based games though. I haven't played I started playing Monster Hunter World and that's pretty fun. I do want to live stream Insurgency a little bit more because I was playing that the other day. I think I said that earlier. The stream is a game I want to add to my streams. I do want to play that. I do need to play like Sekiro, like Chris Thomas said. I really do need to play more games. I need more games to push me. Because I haven't played a game like that in a while, so
Warzone is what I used for the longest time for that. Because
and see, that's what I'm saying. I was playing. I played a little bit of Warzone on PC, but the PS4 version, I played on the second hardest difficulty because I knew it was going to push me. I wasn't even going to try the hardest difficulty because I know I was going to get mad because of the cheese. I know my limits, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna say that I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna play on normal and say, "Oh man, I'm a beast." I'm not doing that. I'm at least play on the second to the last, second to the hardest.
What I'll say is, if you're a casual game, don't step foot on Warzone.
I agree.
You'll get embarrassed real quick if you don't have some friends that are considerate and
And I mean, it's the same thing with me with Uncharted 4. I tried to play that on Crush, and I got halfway through the game. I know I didn't beat. I ended up beating it on the second to the hardest difficulty. I'll be the first to admit to say, look, okay, I'm not this, and this, but I'll be damned if you're gonna tell me that I suck at games. I'm not that.
They had this dude one time that hopped to me and Jomar's party. We was playing Warzone. I forgot to put "Don't Fill." That motherfucker, bro, we got down to the top 10. We carried his bitch ass all the way through that game.
Now, how fun was that?
I'm gonna tell you. We carried his bitch ass all the way to the end of the game. The circle was closing, right? And we're like, all right, we don't have to move yet, bro. We don't have to move yet. This motherfucker starts getting antsy. He sees people across the way that don't see us yet. Shoots at him. Didn't even know how many there were.
Oh my god!
Thought there were 2. Turned out to be 4. We get clapped. I'm like, yo, I'm sending this motherfucker angry inbox, bro. Like I was
man, shit, you should just send him that. You should send him that block, man. Fuck that. You ain't playing with me no more. Shit.
Bro, that shit pissed me.
And see, and Bill, that's what I'm talking about. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. I'm not playing with nobody who's like that. I'm not doing it. That's the stuff I'm talking about. I agree with you. Like, no.
But that there's a lot of casual gamers out there.
Yeah,
to a casual ass to a casual lobby or something.
I'm just not in the business of curtailing somebody else's fun because I'm competitive for myself, and as long as I meet my standard, I'm good. Everybody else,
DJ, man, don't do that, man. Don't be trying to carry sorry ass people, man. Don't do that, man. That shit ain't cool.
My last name is Jordan. I'm exposed to that a lot, so it's one of those things. I'm like, you're only as good as your weakest link.
Man, everybody throw an L in the chat for that. I'm Jordan, so I can do that. Man,
I saved your ass.
The L in that. But man, we need another game like Hardline so we can run around in cars and shoot people. That shit was fun.
Game. No, the hell we don't. We need a good game that takes the good elements of Hardline.
That's what I'm saying. We need a game we run around in cars and shoot people. That's what I was saying.
Warzone.
Oh, and
yeah, I forgot Warzone do got that. Sure do.
Well, you can't turn into a casual gamer.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, I picked these dudes for a reason, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, we can turn into casual gamers by how much we game, how often we game, but not our skill set.
Yeah, that's in your blood, bro. If you're good, you're good. That shit's in your blood. You can walk away from a game for years and come back and still be good. That's how I feel.
Casuals don't care how the game plays. They just want to play the game, with their favorite team.
Yeah, casuals want to
play the game to have fun. They don't really care how it plays. If they like it, they play it. If they don't, they don't. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd ever be a casual gamer because I'm too far in.
Exactly. These casuals want to play Teletubby racing and shit. They're trash.
I'm casual with games that I know I'm not gonna play a lot, like maybe like a PGA, for example. Like, I'm not about to get into the intricacies.
But the thing about that is, Bill, is even though that you're casual, you're competent in how to play the game. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Somebody try to play PGA and can't aim, and the ball is going into the water, into the rough, into the trees. They keep trying, and they keep doing that. Why am I talking to you?
They're having fun.
Have fun by yourself. Don't talk to me. I don't want to play a golf game like say they have like a 4-man. They have like a 4-man party where we all can play on one. Through the. Why would the third person that we play with shoots like that? No, don't play with us. Go play by yourself or something. I don't want that person in my group. I just don't.
Well, luckily for the game, it's all you can do it invite only, so you can do that beforehand.
Hey, I agree. I done seen you play a couple times, and you can't get the ball off the tee. Don't invite only. You go and get invitated to somebody else.
Yeah, we may need to coordinate one of those though.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah, that'll be a first in Framerates gaming night.
He said I'm casual games because I turned the fighting up and that's it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Let's say a casual gamer like you in NHL downloaded the game and they changed the controls completely and said, "All right, you got 5 play now games. Go ahead." How would you feel about that?
That'd be jacked. Now I agree. That'd be jacked up. But this is what I'm saying.
I'm actually noble too.
I'm laughing at Pete's comment.
But I agree. But I will say this. This is my angle on it. This is my angle on that. What you said. If they changed it all up and they changed the controls, and see, a casual wouldn't do this. But if somebody claims to be just a regular gamer, and they try it, and they can't get good at it, and they're constantly trying, and they still can't get good at it, why am I talking to you? You don't even have the stick. You don't even have the stick skills. You don't even have the stick skills to get regular at it. You may not like it, but you should have the stick skills to get regular at it.
No, but you don't play demos like when they're available to you.
Nah, he just waits for people to tell him.
Oh,
He's a slave to that.
Pete said, "Be able to treat casual worse than Epstein did to legal age women." That's messed up, man. No, but I'm just saying, like for like, let's say for instance, if they did change up the controls in NHL and you like, first of all, you should like the game enough to even try the demo. Like for us, like you are trying the game. It may be different, but you can't like say like, okay, I'm not cool with these controls, but I know what I'm doing. I've seen people with their shot stick constantly shoot airball after airball after airball after days of trying to demo. Me and you have nothing in common. I cannot talk to you. Why? No, we're not going to play online together. No, we really don't even need to play against each other because you are not going to play that well against me anyway. Why am I talking to you? That's all I'm saying. It's like days, hours, you still shooting air balls with this new shot stick? You trash. Why are you playing this game? At least be competent enough.
Like it.
You like shooting air balls in a basketball game.
I
See, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, why are we playing this game? Like, no, I'm not playing with you. No, that's all I'm saying. It's like I'm not saying like, oh, you at least be able to hit some of your shots, at least hit the rim, But
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I shot some air balls now.
I did too.
If you're even a centimeter off, you're gonna shoot a really bad air ball. But so like I said, people acted like that mechanic was easy for everybody to pick up, but that's because, like I said, outside of the scope of our circle, people don't know that there are.
And I will say myself, to me, it wasn't easy to me at first. I mean, what was the first thing I put on Twitter? I was like, yo, this shit is getting nerfed immediately. That's the first thing I put because I knew that even regular people are not going to like it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to shoot with this. And within the 30 minutes to an hour, I knew what I was doing.
But that's why I hate keep going back to this.
But that's what I'm saying. But if some people
with Smitty, it's like I was saying shit that was tongue in cheek, like, oh, you want to know how to improve it? Take it out. I was talking shit. Y'all knew I was talking shit, but he's the only person. Like, oh, you wanted out of the game, master. So you could keep making the game like that. Cause we sure do love that 2K the way you made it this year, master.
Wow.
he had the nerve to act like I was the one that was catering my comments to when OG's in here. I've known that OG was in here, and I still criticize 2K on a regular basis. So, I mean, it's just like, that's what I'm talking about. People outside of our base are going to have a way harder time adjusting to that. And that's why I said specifically for the demo that I would just have rather them have the other ability. I mean, the other controls in there because, like I said, some people just want to play the game and yeah. That's all.
And to be honest with you, I agree. I'm not an advocate saying like, hey, this should be one way or no way. My thing is the people who are constantly trying and can't get good at it, like, bro, at least you can get good enough to say this is some bullshit, but I'm all right with it as far as actually knowing how to shoot. If you just can't shoot and say, oh man, this need to be changed, you need to look. Most people been playing games for a good while. I would think most of us who's been in this life playing games, they've been playing games for good. They should at least know how to do it. If you can't, like, bro, you can't be that terrible. Come on now. At least that's what I said in my tweet. Like, at least be borderline competent with this.
There's some gamers out here, man. You know how you can tell how many bad gamers out there play TDM and Kill Confirmed on Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Because TDM is the most simple mode. You literally just go and kill people.
But Noble, that's okay.
Noble, motherfuckers.
But Noble, that's okay. You're decent at games, but not great.
Decent's the bare minimum, bro.
That's all I'm saying. Like, at least know what you're doing.
To talk
like,
to
BF. At least be decent at the shot stick. At least be decent at whatever you're playing at. Don't be like, oh man, I'm playing NHL and I can't shoot the puck. The puck is always going like left every time. Like, dude, you need to learn how to adjust that. If you can't at least, get it in the goal or just hit the goalie or whatever, like, bro, you can't even do that. What are we doing?
Some people don't got time to practice, man. They just play and whatever. They get a couple
Exactly.
hours.
I know.
They get a couple hours, and they go to sleep. They get up the next day, they go to work, and then they come home and unwind for a couple.
Man, they ain't got no job.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wow.
All right. What? All right. Well, let's go ahead and finish up, man. I mean, enough of my rant, man.
Jesus, we done alienated half of our fan base.
Wow.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Especially in the middle of a pandemic where people lost their jobs. Wow.
I said they lost. I just said they ain't got one.
I wasn't talking about the job.
They don't have one because maybe COVID has something to do with it.
I wasn't talking about the job thing. I was talking about the gamer thing.
No, I'm talking about VF saying, well, you ain't got a job. I'm like, Jesus.
Everybody knows he's joking. If they take that seriously.
I know. It's funny.
I'll put it like this. That's how I just feel about this game.
That rant, that shit was classic right there.
Yeah, that's just how I feel about these games. Like, at least if you're picking up these sticks, man, you need to know what you're doing. If you like, I'm not even gonna put their name out there because they're still out there claiming that the shot you just can't.
The only thing I will criticize once again is if you're bad at the game and you criticize shit in the game and say it doesn't work, that's what pisses me off.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what I'll say. And I didn't really see people say shooting didn't work. They just said they didn't like the meter because they sucked at it, and then the other people didn't like it because they just liked the other option. But if you're saying that the game sucks as a result of the meter, then yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And you have people literally shooting air balls saying, "Oh, this game is trash." No, man. Look, the game could be trash because of your it could be trash because of your preference. But I don't think it should be trash because you're just sorry. If that's the case, that's on you, bro. You can at least be decent at whatever that you're having a problem with. You should be able to get better. And if it's just not for you, it's not for you. But for you to tell me that because of the shot stick, the entire game is terrible, and I see you constantly missing shots, constantly shooting air balls, that's not the game. That's the user. That's the problem I have.
I can't run the ball in Madden. And then we look at your fucking stats.
Thank you.
Exactly. And it was fucking embarrassing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you can't run the ball in Madden, but Madden sucks. Get the fuck out my mentions. You know what I mean? It's like, no, what are we doing? You know, but
all right, we have another person disliking the podcast. Hi, Smitty.
All right, man. What you got, DJ?
Can I ask you all voting in November? I'm gonna go.
What is he reading? What are you reading?
That might have been. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that seemed like that was.
No, Miss Q Lady, but actually, I was voting in November.
Oh, okay.
I will say this, and she didn't know. Yes, I'm pretty sure we all are, but we don't really talk politics over here. We had an issue with somebody trying that a couple weeks ago.
I'm not. I'll be the first to say I'm not.
Bill's not voting. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
I'm leaning towards not voting, but for me, it's always about, can you earn my vote? Now, obviously, Trump is not going to get that done. He didn't earn my vote in 2016. He's not earning my vote now. It's definitely worse now with him than it was. But Biden hasn't earned my vote either, and that was the case with Hillary.
Who said how was the podcast like? We gonna say it was garbage?
I know, right? No, I mean,
it's like this podcast is trash.
You didn't miss anything. Like,
more than likely, I will. But I'm like the presidential thing. I don't know, but I know there's other ballots that are on, like local stuff. I'm definitely gonna get involved.
I will say this: I have applied for mail-in voting, so you MAGA hats are gonna be pissed.
Yeah, we got our absentee one. Goodness, babe, when we got our absentee ballot.
See it, and yeah, that's a different
Huh? They don't have the one for presidential yet? Okay, because I know we got the ones for the local. We got that already. The absentee ones for that.
I know down here they need to stop telling them. Them black people stop running out in the street. All right.
You got anything, DJ?
Oh yeah. So I was gonna say, all right. So you guys can follow me on, because I figure we're doing outros. You guys can follow me on Twitch at Evo325. You saw me struggle with PGA 2K21 yesterday. It was hilarious. You can follow me on Twitter, DJ81. I also have a website, dj81.org. And just to throw in the sponsors a little bit, this is Rogue Energy. You can go on their site. It's rogueenergy.com where you can get 10% off if you use the code DJ81. So happy gaming.
What about you, Bills? What you got?
I'm just gonna put them in the comment section. But thank you everybody for coming today. It was a great podcast. Unexpected roast happened, and sorry, but that's just how shit goes. Good conversation about the shot meter. That shit was pretty funny to hear. VF roast bad gamers. But yeah, another good episode in the can.
All right, y'all. As far as me, tomorrow or DJ streaming tomorrow, because I thought about putting a video up, but it's not.
Wait a minute, I haven't scheduled the stream for tomorrow just yet. I've left it open because I want to maintain the flexibility of whether.
Oh yeah, you did say that. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably put a video up. Definitely Saturday. I'm going to be streaming. Saturday I'll be back streaming. I don't know if I'm gonna. It may be a little bit of Madden, and I really want to get Insurgency into the rotation because I've been playing it the other day, and the night vision stuff is amazing. I'm really loving that. But other than that, Saturday I'll be back streaming. Maybe a video tomorrow. I'm not sure. Listen, the podcast numbers are looking good. The subscriber numbers looking great. Tuesday, definitely. The Patreon will probably go live Tuesday or Thursday. I didn't talk about this earlier. I should have said it in the beginning. Patreon is going live Tuesday or Thursday. I don't know yet. As far as tiers, me and DJ did discuss 1 or 2. It may be only 2 tiers if we do it, and it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt anybody's wallet. At the end of the day, we just want you guys to have the option to support, and it'll be there for you guys. So
and $100 for the premium. So
and if I see it'll definitely be 2 tiers. If I see money drop, I'm like, oh wow.
So definitely, that's going to be probably up and running Tuesday or Thursday, but it's going to be sometime next week. So I'll put more information about that by the end of the weekend. And other than that, man, we do appreciate it. Like I said, the sub numbers will continue going up. We're over 450 now. We try to march to 500. Hopefully, we'll get up to 1,000 by maybe the end of the year. Hopefully, but that's just all on you guys spreading the word, letting us know what we do over here. I mean, we talk about sports and sports gaming. We want real sports and sports gamers. Honestly, I do, and people who are willing to wanting to be a real sports gamer. I want those guys as well. Or girls with Miss Ladybug. Appreciate her coming through. Noble, thank you. Yeah, that's one thing I'm about to say. All of y'all, stay out of trouble. Stay safe. Definitely stay safe.
Definitely be safe.
Definitely be safe. Pete said he's doing well. He didn't say anything about his situation. I'm pretty sure he'll let us know before we end because I'm going to give him a little bit more time because he did have COVID. So I don't know if he wants to share how he's going with that, but I know,
and that's kind of I'm not funny. It's kind of ironic because I almost ended up like that. So it was just like going through my share. I was thinking about Pete,
right? Exactly.
When I was because I was in quarantine, and he had it, so that was a lot longer that he had to sit and deal with it.
Shout out to Chris Thomas too. He had and he recovered as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells him COVID got his ass kicked. I'm good. Everybody, man.
There we go.
Applause, man. That's what's up. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's good.
And
to hear, man.
And Bill's over here just like,
he don't give a fuck. He's like,
what?
My fault. I was checking my text messages.
Nah, but it's good. Pete got over COVID. That's great. Chris Thomas got over it. And y'all stay safe, man. Weather's going to be changing soon, so you never know what may happen. So
we may get hit with remnants of Laura.
That too.
So that's going to be crazy.
Careful with that. Shout out to Obi-Wan. He lives down there in Louisiana, so he kind of indirectly got hit, but enough to be, mindful. So watch out for him too. So we will see you guys Tuesday, and y'all be blessed, man. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Peace.